Chapter 33. A few seconds later, someone replied in the WeChat group. No, it's gone, Zhu Lingling replied. As soon as she said this, a few other classmates immediately asked, What's going on? Yeah, didn't you say that you bought a house? Why aren't you getting married? If they're not suitable for each other, then don't get married. There's no need for so many whys. You guys can save on the gift money. Oh right, you guys should help Mian keep an eye out for any good single men and introduce one to her, Zhu Lingling joked. Just then, Wei Dong went online and sent a message. Are you serious? Stop messing around. Of course, why would I joke about something so important? Zhu Lingling rolled her eyes. Awesome, my goddess is single. I have a chance, Wei Dong said. It was hard to tell if he was serious or just joking. Just then, the female classmate named Lu Xing replied sourly, Yeah, my goddess is single. Hurry up if you want to pursue her. Don't fail this time, you rich guy. Qin Chu quietly looked at the chat and didn't say a word. Among the dozens of people in the group, he wasn't interested in anyone other than Huamin. Speaking of which, he had to thank Ms. Yao for the party last time. If he didn't bring Ms. Yao back from New Zealand, Huamin definitely wouldn't have attended the party. He knew her too well. Just as everyone was chatting, Huamin suddenly went online. I'm sorry, I can't invite everyone to my wedding. Something did happen at the wedding. Goddess, it's okay. That guy didn't have good taste and luck. Long live being single. Goddess Hua, can you give me a chance? Wei Dong teased. Mian, aren't you at work? You have a lot of free time today. Why are you on WeChat? Zhu Lingling asked. Yeah, I just helped with a surgery. The head nurse gave me a day off. That old witch is doing well this time. Come out for dinner tonight, I'm free today. Count me in, I'll pay the bill. You guys can pick the place, Wei Dong interrupted. No, another day. Lingling, I have to go to Fourth People's Hospital to take care of my mother. Auntie is hospitalized? What's going on? Zhu Lingling sent a private message to Huamin. It's nothing. It's just high blood pressure. It's not a big deal. Don't worry, Huamin replied. She changed her clothes, bought some food, and took a bus to the Fourth People's Hospital. There were still classmates in the WeChat group asking her this and that, but she was too lazy to answer. After all, she didn't usually contact her classmates, so she didn't need to pretend to be too familiar with them. Just then, a message popped up on WeChat. It was a message about a bank transfer. The total was 888 yuan, and it was from Wei Dong. There was another sentence below. I heard that your aunt was hospitalized. This is a little token of appreciation. Only then did Huamin realize that he had just mentioned his mother's hospitalization in the WeChat group. He immediately rejected the money transfer. Thank you. I appreciate your kindness, but you really don't have to do this. She hadn't had much contact with Wei Dong in the past few years, so how could she suddenly ask him for money? Goddess Hua, are you really single? Yes, we broke up, Huamin replied honestly. Then can you give me a chance? Don't joke around, old classmate. Huamin only felt a little awkward. I'm not joking. I'm serious. Huamin, I've liked you for a long time. I've had a crush on you since high school. If you don't believe me, you can ask my desk mate, Big Mouthly. He knows everything. It's just that you were with Qin Chu back then, so I didn't have much of a chance. After graduation, you had a boyfriend, so I didn't bother you. But I heard from Lingling that you have a girlfriend, Huamin replied with a question of her own. I don't have any feelings for her. She's only with me for my family's money. When the time comes, I'll just compensate her. Then how do you know that I'm not with you for your money? Huamin asked again. Chapter 34. You won't. Qin Chu's family is so rich, and you treated him like that at the graduation ceremony. Someone like me is at most a nouveau riche. So, you're definitely not the kind of woman who only cares about money. Old classmate, you must be joking. Thank you for the compliment, but I don't think we're suitable for each other. Why not? I can be really, really good to you. Really, Huamin, I swear I'll be good to you for the rest of my life. I can also take care of your mom and brother for the rest of my life. Wei Dong, thank you. After replying, Huamin exited WeChat and didn't want to waste any more time with him. Wei Dong was just talking about the incident with Qin Chu at her graduation ceremony. Her heart was suddenly in a mess again. Just then, Huamin's phone rang. Lingling? Mian, let me tell you, don't pay attention to that scumbag Wei Dong. His character is horrible. I heard that he's always changing women. He just told me to help him persuade you. He even said that as long as you agreed, he would immediately go and get the marriage certificate with you. He's really out of his league. Huh, he was just joking, I didn't take it seriously. What joke? He's serious. When we were in school, he always sneaked food into your desk like a henchman. You know that. He wants to marry you, and I believe that. After all, you're his goddess. But men are all like that. They always want what they can't get. As long as you're together, you'll get sick of it within a few years. Then, they'll still cheat on you. I've seen a lot of scumbags like him. I know, Lingling. Okay, I'm just reminding you. After hanging up, Huamian arrived at 4th People's Hospital. Huamin brought the buns and egg drop soup he bought into Yang Meirong's room. Mom, you must be hungry. There was a bit of traffic on the way here. Huamin smiled. Yang Meirong's face was still dark. She didn't say anything and just took the food from Huamin's hands and started eating. I'm leaving the hospital tomorrow. Huamin froze for a second. Then, he counted the days and realized that it was about time. Okay, I'll ask the doctor. We'll leave when your blood pressure drops. When are you getting married? I heard from Jixin that he already bought a house, Yang Meirong asked calmly. Yang Meirong had been with Ning Ziyuan for a long time. Although he hadn't been home much, Yang Meirong treated Ning Ziyuan well. At least, she didn't give him a hard time. She just wasn't very enthusiastic. Not anymore. Huamin bit his lip and replied. Yang Meirong paused in the middle of eating a bun. She looked up with a sharp gaze. What's going on? Zion has someone else he likes. Huamin said evasively, not because he didn't want to be the scapegoat, but because he thought his mother would be excited when she heard Qin Chu's name, so he tried to avoid it as much as possible. At this moment, Yang Meirong sneered and asked, does he have someone he likes? Or is it because the boy you like is back and your heart is alive again? Mom, I don't. Huamin's face was a little pale. He didn't expect his mother to be so direct. Huamin, let me tell you, although Ning Ziyuan is an ordinary person, you can only live a stable life if you marry him. I thought that you had really settled down for the past 7 years, but I didn't expect you to still have such delusions. If you continue to be with that Qin guy, I'm afraid you won't even know how you died. You have to know that his parents wanted you dead, and your Uncle Jing only wanted to save you. If they find out that you're still entangled with that boy, you'll be dead. Mom, I won't. Don't be angry. Huamin said as he tried to help his mother up. Go away, don't touch me. After speaking, Yang Meirong threw the food in her hand onto the floor, making a loud noise. What's wrong? This is. The young nurse rushed over in time. I don't want to see her. Get her out. Yang Meirong pointed at her daughter and yelled. You should leave for a while. The patient is a little emotional. The young nurse advised. Huamin didn't feel good. He was worried about his mother, but he didn't want to make her angry, so he could only leave. At this moment, his phone rang again. It was the head nurse. Head nurse, what's wrong? Huamin, the director has approved your reward. Come to the hospital. Chapter 35. Okay, I'll head back now. After leaving 4th People's Hospital, Huamian took a bus back to the 1st hospital. Head nurse's office. Huamin, about your request last time, I spoke to the director and he approved it. This is your bonus. Then, the head nurse handed him a leather envelope. Huamin took the envelope and was surprised to find that it was quite heavy. Head nurse, how much is this? 20,000 yuan. That much? Huamin was shocked. The director said that this is a very important event. The leader woke up and is recovering well. He told him to reward all the medical staff who participated. Thank you, head nurse. Thank you, director. No need to thank me, you deserve it. Plus, you took a big risk. Huamin smiled and didn't say anything else. With this 20,000 yuan, he could pay off his credit card and pay off Lingling. This was great. It felt so good to be debt-free. Huamin, do you mind if I ask you a personal question? Hey, head nurse. Please ask. Actually, I've heard about you. You were a very outstanding student in high school. You even received invitations and full scholarships from many foreign medical schools. Your college entrance examination score was 697, right? With such a score, you could be admitted to the best medical school in the country, Beijing University. But why did you choose our local medical school? With your qualifications back then, you should have been an outstanding doctor, not an ordinary intern nurse. That was my personal choice. Maybe everyone's choice is different. Huamin smiled bitterly. I've observed you for a long time in the past 6 months. You're very serious and talented. You can understand medical principles at a glance. I think it's a waste for you to continue like this. Every year, our hospital has a quota for students to study abroad. We have one in the OB/GYN department. This year, registration starts in July and you can study in Canada for 8 months. If you're interested. Thank you, head nurse, but I really don't need it. You can give the quota to someone else. I'm just an ordinary nurse. After that, Huamin bowed deeply to the head nurse and turned to leave. The head nurse looked at Huamin's back as he left. She had mixed feelings. She didn't understand why such an outstanding child would kill her own medical dreams. On the other side, at GK headquarters, inside the president's office, a middle-aged man in a black suit was sitting on the sofa, facing Qin Chu. He was the middle-aged man who had brought 8 special police officers to the Qin family's villa to pick them up in the wee hours of the morning. Dr. Qin, the operation this time was very successful. After the critical period passed last night, we have transferred the leader to a hospital in Beijing to recuperate. I would like to thank you on behalf of the leader. Then, according to the leader's instructions, I would like to communicate with you to see if there is anything we can help with. Are you going to give me a reward? Qin Chu asked. That's what I meant. If you need anything, just let us know. We'll do our best. Then what do you think I need right now? Qin Chu asked again. The middle-aged man froze and was speechless. As the president of GK, he really didn't need anything. After a while, the middle-aged man took out some documents and placed them on the table. He coughed lightly and said, with Dr. Qin's status, you really don't need anything. However, we know that you're 27 years old and still don't have a girlfriend. Therefore, we specifically brought out a list of the most beautiful and clean socialites in the 3 northern provinces. You can look through it carefully and tell me which one you like. I'll take care of it. So, your leader's reward for me is to introduce someone to me? Qin Chu glanced at the documents and said coldly. Chapter 36. Well, theoretically, that's also the case. The middle-aged man appeared solemn and a little embarrassed. After all, it was a headache to talk to this young man who was both a doctor and a CEO. Then can you tell me, which eye of yours found out that I don't have a girlfriend? Qin Chu crossed his arms and stared at the middle-aged man as he questioned him. The middle-aged man froze slightly and then immediately took out another document from his folder. After reading it, he looked up and replied, Doctor, we investigated your situation in the past few years and found that you didn't have excessive intimacy with women. Then why didn't you suspect that I was gay? Qin Chu continued to question him. Because according to our investigation, you didn't have excessive contact with any men either, the middle-aged man answered sincerely. Qin Chu was speechless. It seemed that these people were quite thorough in their investigation. They even investigated the men and women he was in contact with. They were just short of investigating his ancestors. Take this document away. I don't need any socialites, Qin Chu said proudly. He wasn't at the point where he had to go on blind dates, was he? Over the years, there were at least 80 women who liked him, if not 100. There were all kinds of women, but none of them were good enough for him. Why would you refuse? This is a small token of appreciation from our leader. Then I want to ask, does your leader have the right to kidnap a girl to marry me? Qin Chu asked in all seriousness. The middle-aged man's mouth twitched slightly. I don't think so. No matter how powerful his leader was, he couldn't kidnap someone to marry him. That was against the law. After all, their country was a place where human rights were valued. Then forget it, I have someone I like. If you can't kidnap her to marry me, then there's no point in saying anything more. Then can we help you in other ways? No, I don't need any help, please leave. Qin Chu asked him to leave. The middle-aged man sighed slightly and thought, if this young man didn't tell him what he wanted, how could he report back to his leader? Therefore, he made a decision on his own. 3 days later, Sea City's officials suddenly released an announcement saying that an important official from the capital city had come to Sea City 3 days ago to inspect the city's economic situation. He conducted an in-depth interview with the leading company, GK Corporation, and expressed his satisfaction. As soon as this news came out, it was immediately reposted by all the major media outlets. At the end of the day, GK's stock market rose by 25%. When Qin Yumin saw this news at home, he was overjoyed. It seemed like it was a wise decision to hand GK over to his son. Although he didn't know what relationship his son had used to get in touch with the so-called big boss in Jingdu, the group had indeed benefited. Evening. By the time Qin Chu got home, it was already 8:30 p.m. Son, have you eaten? Lady Qin asked enthusiastically. I've eaten. Qin Chu finished speaking and was about to go upstairs. Chu, I've read the news today. You've really impressed me. I'm curious, how did you get in touch with that mysterious leader? Qin Yumin put down the newspaper in his hand and asked in a formal tone. I traded my life for it. After throwing down these 4 words, Qin Chu turned around and went upstairs. Indeed, he had traded his life for it. If there had been even the slightest mistake during the surgery that day, he would probably be eating cornbread in prison right now. Many people were jealous and envious of him on the surface, but no one knew how much he had sacrificed under the surface. What kind of attitude is that? Qin Yumin was annoyed. Yumin, your son has been too busy with work recently. You should understand. Anyways, the group is steadily growing, isn't that what you want to see the most? Lady Qin spoke up for her son. The first hospital, when Huamin was working the night shift, she happened to run into Ning Ziyuan in the hallway. He seemed to have just gotten off work. He was wearing a blue short-sleeved shirt, beige casual pants, and white sneakers. He looked clean and bright. Speaking of which, they hadn't seen each other for a few days. She actually almost forgot about him. Huamin, he called out to her. Huamin looked up. When she saw Ning Ziyuan, her gaze was still calm, as if she was looking at another colleague. Seeing Huamin's reaction, Ning Ziyuan was slightly disappointed. He thought that she would at least be happy to see him. Do you need something from me? Huamin asked quietly. Chapter 37. Oh, it's nothing. I just remembered that I forgot to bring some things. Bring them to me when you're free. Okay, I'll go back and look for them. Huamin nodded. You can just give them to He-Man after you bring them here, Ning Ziyuan added in order to piss off Huamin. However, Huamin wasn't surprised at all. He replied calmly, okay. Then Huamin brushed past him. Ning Ziyuan suddenly felt bad. It would be a lie to say that he didn't have feelings for Huamin. After all, he had pursued her for so long. They had been together for 3 years, and he treated her very well. Now that they suddenly broke up, how could he not feel bad? He thought that Huamin wouldn't feel good either. After all, he was now with He-Man. However, when he saw Huamin, her eyes didn't seem to be filled with pain at all. Could it be that, after all these years, she had never truly loved him? Did she only love her ex-boyfriend? At that thought, Ning Ziyuan's eyes turned cold. After Huamin got off work, she went straight home to buy some tonics for her mother. After all, she had just been discharged from the hospital. Her mother had never been nice to her, so she left after putting down the things and didn't stay for dinner. Then, she went back to her rented apartment and cleaned it thoroughly. She found a few things that belonged to Ning Ziyuan. She carefully put them away and put them in a storage box. She planned to bring them over tomorrow. In the end, she lay on her bed, exhausted. She used her phone to transfer money to her credit card. Luckily, it hadn't expired. Otherwise, the fees would be frighteningly high. Then she sent Zhu Lingling a WeChat message. Are you there? Give me your card number. Pay me back. So soon? I'm not in a hurry, Zhu Lingling replied. You're not in a hurry, but I am. It doesn't feel good to owe someone money. Where did you get so much money? Ning Ziyuan paid you the down payment? Zhu Lingling asked. In order to avoid explaining too much, Huamin just vaguely said that the money was a reward for Qin Chu's assistant in the hospital. That's not bad at all. How alright. Since you are so trustworthy, I will still lend it to you happily next time. Zhu Lingling sent a smiley face and sent it over. Huamin received the bank account number as well. Following the bank account number, Huamin transferred the money. Although she only had 2,000 yuan left for living expenses after taking the bonus from the hospital, she felt a lot more relaxed. Lying on the bed, Huamin played the piano version of Canon. Suddenly, Huamin felt that living a simple life was also a kind of beauty. City Center Criminal Police Unit, Captain Gao, we've raided a brothel tonight and caught a lot of people, a young policeman said. Gao patted the young policeman on the shoulder. Well done. Brothers, thank you for your hard work. Captain Gao, one of the customers, was drunk. We asked him for his contact number to bail him out, but he refused to tell us. His phone also has a password. We can't unlock it and can't contact his family. What should we do? I'll go take a look. After speaking, Gao walked towards the detention room. As soon as he entered, he saw a young man with red cheeks and a strong smell of alcohol. Gao frowned. Where are his belongings? Give it to me. Here, Captain Gao. The young policeman handed over a branded phone. Gao swiped it and found that it was a fingerprint password. Without saying anything, he immediately walked over, picked up the drunk man's hand, and pressed it. The young policeman next to him couldn't help but give him a thumbs up. Our captain is really smart. After Gao unlocked the phone, he saw the picture of a delicate woman on the screensaver and frowned slightly. This woman is Huamin? Gao muttered to himself uncertainly. Chapter 38. Gao recognized Huamin because she was the woman that his good friend, Qin Chu, once loved deeply. Secondly, Huamin's appearance hadn't changed much over the years. She had only lost her youthfulness from high school. 7 years ago, when Qin Chu and Huamin were together, they would occasionally have dinner together. At the time, Gao also had a girlfriend who was the prettiest girl in class. Qin Chu brought Huamin and the four of them often went to eat Western food. Now that he thought about it, it seemed like it was many years ago. Gao turned on the drunkard's phone. As expected, he found a contact named Mian in the contacts list. Gao guessed that it must be Huamin. Since he could use Huamin's picture as his screensaver, it meant that this man had a close relationship with Huamin. At this thought, Gao suddenly had an idea. Then, he said to the young officer beside him, Did you check his ID? What's his name? Captain Gao, his name is Ning Ziyuan. Okay. Then, Gao walked out of the detention room with his phone and dialed the number. At this time, Huamin was about to fall asleep from listening to music. It was already 11:30 p.m. When her phone rang, she woke up in a daze. When she saw that it was Ning Ziyuan's number, she hesitated for a moment before picking it up. Zing, what's the matter? Her voice sounded a little distant. Hello, is this Miss Huamin? Gao said in a formal tone. Yes, I am. May I know who you are? I'm the captain of the city's criminal police force. Tonight, we caught a prostitute called Ning Ziyuan during our anti-prostitution operation. Is this person your friend? That's because we found your contact information in his phone. Gao purposely emphasized the word whoremonger. Huamin was surprised to hear this. Prostitute? Ning Ziyuan? How could this be? Miss Huamin, are you still listening? Gao asked again. Ning Ziyuan is your friend, right? Yes, Huamin replied. Then can you come and bail him out now? After a moment of silence, Huamin slowly replied, All right, I'll be right there. After hanging up the phone, Gao smirked. Then he took out his phone and dialed a number. Qin Chu was a night owl. Perhaps it was because he had just returned to China not long ago, so he often looked at the company's data in the study room at night, and then made a cup of coffee to study the stock market. Hello. Chu, you have to treat me to a big meal. Now? What time is it? Qin Chu looked at his watch. It's the middle of the night. Is this Gao Ran sick? Come to the police station now, I have a surprise for you. Not interested, Qin Chu immediately rejected. Gao Ran was embarrassed. Ahem. Don't regret it. Anyway, I've already informed you. If you don't come, you won't be able to see the best part. Huamin will be here soon. As expected, Qin Chu heard the two words, Huamin, and immediately perked up. If you want to come, then hurry up. It'll be a pity if you miss it. After speaking, Gao Ran immediately hung up the phone. Qin Chu then got up, changed his clothes, and drove his Audi R8 to the city center. When Qin Chu arrived at the municipal bureau, Huamin was not there yet. Gao Ran stood at the door and said proudly, "Just wait, Huamin will be here soon." What's going on? It's so late, why is she here? The reason Qin Chu was in such a hurry was not because he wanted to see Huamin, but because he was worried. It was so late, why would a girl like Huamin come to the municipal bureau? Did something happen? Just as Gao Ran was about to answer, he saw a thin girl walk in. Her long hair was loose and she wore a long beige sweater. It was very pleasing to the eye. Qin Chu noticed it as well, and he immediately looked towards the door. Hello, I just received a call. I'm here to bail out Ning Ziyuan. Huamin's voice was a little hoarse. She did not seem to be in a good state of mind. Chapter 39. Okay, come over here and fill out this form. The young officer led Huamin to the side to fill out the form. Qin Chu remained silent, and no one knew what he was thinking. How is it? Isn't it crazy? I didn't think that one of the customers I arrested would be Huamin's current boyfriend. They already broke up, Qin Chu said calmly. You even know that? You're way too well informed, aren't you? Gao Ran laughed. Qin Chu didn't say anything else, but his gaze never left Huamin's figure. After Huamin paid the 2,000 yuan bail, she let out a sigh. She finally had 2,000 yuan left in her working capital, but it was going to go down the drain again. Luckily, her salary was due in a few days, or else she wouldn't be able to make a living. After she paid the bail, Ning Ziyuan was still unconscious and had fallen asleep. There were still lipstick stains on his clothes. She could understand that Ning Ziyuan and He-Man were together because he was angry or unwilling to give up. However, she really didn't think that Ning Ziyuan would go to the brothel. After all, he usually looked like such a gentle man. You can take him away now. Go home and teach him a lesson. What's the point of fooling around with such a beautiful girlfriend? He really doesn't know how lucky he is, the young officer nagged. Huamin nodded awkwardly, then struggled to drag Ning Ziyuan out. When he saw Huamin carrying the drunk Ning Ziyuan out, Qin Chu immediately lost his cool. Let me do it. After he spoke, Qin Chu didn't wait for Huamin to speak, and he dragged Ning Ziyuan over and carried him himself. Why are you here? Huamin was extremely shocked when he saw Qin Chu. Don't tell me you're also a prostitute, caught? Huamin's face gradually turned pale. Are you kidding me? Qin Chu's face darkened as he looked at Huamin. At this time, Gao Ran immediately came over to smooth things over. I was the one who called Chu. The purpose was to let him see what kind of person his ex-girlfriend's current boyfriend is. When Huamin saw Gao Ran and saw his police uniform, he immediately reacted. Then he laughed mockingly, "Then you must be bored to death." Hey, what are you talking about? Gao Ran looked aggrieved. Before he could finish, Huamin turned around and walked out angrily. Qin Chu dragged Ning Ziyuan out as well. These two are so weird. I wonder if what I did was a good thing? Gao Ran muttered to himself as he rubbed his chin. After they walked out, Huamin turned around. Leave him to me. What are you going to do? Take him back to your house? What else can I do? Where else can I take him? Huamin asked back. No, I don't agree, Qin Chu said with a dark expression. Huamin was confused. Qin Chu, what right do you have to disagree? I have nothing to do with you. Plus, I'm the one who bailed out Ning Ziyuan. He's my friend. That's enough, I'll make arrangements for him. After he spoke, Qin Chu didn't care anymore as he dragged Ning Ziyuan into his Audi R8. Hey, where are you taking him? Huamin asked anxiously. To feed the sharks, to fill the sea. After he spoke, Qin Chu drove the Audi R8 away at lightning speed. Chapter 40. Huamin was left standing alone at the entrance of the Municipal Public Security Bureau. Her mind was in a mess. She was supposed to be bailed out, but what was happening now? Huamin was wondering if she should just take the bus to the first hospital since it was too expensive to take a taxi home. The Audi R8 magically returned in less than 5 minutes. Get in. So fast? Where is he? In the hotel up front, Qin Chu replied. Huamin was speechless. Qin Chu's efficiency was really, hurry up and get in. Huamin didn't dawdle. She opened the door and got into the front passenger seat. After a long silence, she slowly asked, Did you arrange what happened today? Qin Chu's hand that was holding the steering wheel paused slightly. He turned his head and looked at her. You suspect that I framed him? Huamin was silent. Do you think I would do something so senseless? Qin Chu asked again. Huamin was still silent, but it was true. With Qin Chu's personality, he definitely wouldn't do something that would cause him to lose fans. However, if it was Gao Ran, it would be hard to say. After all, 7 years ago, Huamin already felt that he was a restless guy. You might not, but your good buddy might. Qin Chu pursed his lips. Do you think the captain of the Municipal Public Security Bureau would frame a normal citizen over something so trivial and arrest him for a whoremonger? He's the captain of the criminal police force now? Huamin was a little surprised. She didn't expect Gao Ran to be so powerful. When she thought about it this way, it didn't make sense. No captain of the criminal police force would do something like this. Moreover, there were so many police officers every time he was on duty. If he wronged someone for no reason, people would talk about it. Most importantly, when Huamin was filling out the form, she remembered something the young police officer reminded her of. He said, Beauty, your boyfriend is a habitual offender. It's not his first time doing this. You have to educate him when you go back. When Huamin heard this, she was shocked. She never thought that Ning Ziyuan, who looked so gentle on the surface, was actually a repeat offender. Even if they were just putting on a show, there was no need for them to do this, right? Moreover, weren't all doctors obsessed with cleanliness? How could he bear to sleep with a delinquent girl? The more Huamin thought about it, the more depressed he became. He simply stopped talking and turned his head to look at the night view outside. She had never thought that one day, she would be able to sit in Qin Chu's car and drive through the night with him alone, just like 7 years ago. In fact, it took less than 20 minutes for the Audi R8 to reach her house. But she felt like it had been a few hours. In fact, she did not dare to face Qin Chu. Although she hated him, she knew that there was a feeling called hatred born from love. Only when there was love would there be hatred. Otherwise, when they met again, they would be strangers. Why would her heart beat so fast? Mian, he suddenly called her name softly. Huamin turned her head, her eyes a little dazed. Perhaps it was the night view that completely messed up her heart. How have you been these 7 years? Qin Chu had always wanted to ask. How had she been without him by her side for the past 7 years? Chapter 41. Did she have a good life these past 7 years? Yeah, she wanted to ask herself if she had a good life. She hid her talents and lived like an ordinary person. Maybe that was considered good, right? Not bad, Huamin slowly replied after a moment of silence. They arrived at Huamin's apartment. As soon as the car stopped, Huamin immediately opened the door and got out of the car as if she was avoiding a ghost. Thank you for driving me home. Goodbye. Huamin hurriedly said goodbye and hurried upstairs. She was really afraid that Qin Chu would say more to her. She was really afraid that the memories that had been dormant for 7 years would awaken again. Looking at Huamin's back, Qin Chu's eyes had a hint of warmth. Even though she still rejected him, seeing her like this and seeing her home was already a very happy thing. Seeing the lights turn on upstairs, Qin Chu took out a pack of cigarettes and leaned against the car to light one up. He had survived 7 years without her, so the difficulties he was facing now were nothing to him. She was his. This was something that he had already decided in his life, regardless of whether she agreed or not. After Huamin went upstairs, she took a shower and was about to go to bed when she unexpectedly walked over to the window and quietly pulled down the corner of the curtains. Sure enough, the car was still parked there. Qin Chu leaned against the car and didn't move. Seeing that there seemed to be someone standing by the curtains, Qin Chu raised his head in surprise and looked over. Huamin immediately pulled the curtains shut, and then her heart began to pound wildly. She was as nervous as if her unspeakable secret had been discovered. Why was she like this? It had been a long time, hadn't it? Why was she still so nervous when she saw him and made eye contact with him? Lying in bed, Huamin tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. She had already become indifferent to Ning Ziyuan. If they didn't end up together, then it meant that their fate had come to an end. She had tried to persuade him to stay. She didn't owe him anything. But if Qin Chu kept appearing in her life, then where should she go from here on out? She thought for a moment, then posted a message on WeChat. Everyone will meet someone in their life who they can't be with. We will always be annoyed by the irresistible love that can even be compared to life. In the end, we will go through a painful separation and think that this is the biggest regret in life. After time passes, when you look back at those ridiculous years, you will realize that you have to thank yourself for the choice you made back then. Because I began to understand that those people who couldn't be with me were actually the wrong people. Huamian got up and went to the bathroom not long after she posted it on WeChat. When she came back, there were a few comments. There were a few people to be liked Huamian. The young nurse, Huang Yu, wrote, "Senior sister, don't be sad. Life is still long." Huamian mean. The reason why she addressed Huang Yu as senior sister and junior sister was because Huang Yu also graduated from the city's hospital's advanced blood care program. Her best friend, Zhu Lingling, wrote below, "Girl, it's rare that you don't have to work the night shift. Go to bed early and don't let your imagination run wild. When you wake up tomorrow, it'll be a new day." Huamin replied, "Girl, sometimes I really want to find a place where no one knows me and start over." Zhu Lingling replied again, "How can I do that? Don't abandon me. You are my best friend." Huamin only replied with a smiley face after reading the reply and didn't say anything else. Wei Dong commented below, "Only by leaving the wrong person can you meet the right person. You can't give up the whole forest for a crooked tree." Huamin replied with a polite smiley face. The truth was, sometimes she really felt tired and wanted to start over somewhere else. However, that was impossible because she still had her mother and brother to take care of. Before her brother started working, she couldn't just leave them alone. The next day, Huamin slept in because it was her day off. When she heard the doorbell, she got up and opened the door. When she saw Ning Ziyuan, Huamin wasn't awake yet. She said groggily, "You're here to get your stuff, right? I've already packed it for you." "Mian, I'm here to see you," Ning Ziyuan looked at Huamin and said in all seriousness. Chapter 42. "Oh, come in and wait for me. I'm going to brush my teeth and wash up." Huamin opened the door and let Ning Ziyuan in. After he walked in, he slowly looked around the small house with mixed feelings. He remembered how excited he was when he moved in with Huamin. Although they slept in separate rooms, they were able to see each other day and night. It was a blessing. If it wasn't for the class reunion, they might have already had their wedding. Ning Ziyuan hated Huamin's ex-boyfriend. They broke up so many years ago, why was he still bothering them? If he was so rich, why didn't he just find another girlfriend? Why was he bothering Huamin? After Huamin changed, he went into the bathroom to wash up. When he came out, he saw Ning Ziyuan sitting on the sofa reading the newspaper. "Why are you looking for me?" Huamin walked out while drying his hair. "Yesterday, thank you for bailing me out," Ning Ziyuan suddenly said awkwardly. Huamin immediately understood what he was talking about. He only replied faintly, "It's nothing." "Mian, I'm not usually like that. I was just in a bad mood yesterday. I thought of our past, so I went to drink. After I got drunk, a woman took me away from the bar. I really don't remember what happened after that. You have to believe me. You don't have to explain this to me. Your current girlfriend is He-Man, Huamin reminded. Mian, you know that I still have feelings for you. After all these years, Xin, what are you trying to say? Huamin went straight to the point. Mian, I was wrong this time. I had to trouble you to pick me up and take me to the hotel last night. I really feel sorry for you. He-Man and I were just fooling around. It wasn't real. I still love you in my heart. Let's call it even, okay? I won't pursue the matter between you and your ex-boyfriend anymore. I made a mistake this time, and with He-Man's matter, we're even. Can we still be the same as before? Xin, do you think life is a game? Can I start over if I break it? Huamian put down the towel and stared into Ning Ziyuan's eyes as she asked seriously. I don't think so. I just think that it's not easy for the two of us to be together. Since we have feelings for each other, why torture each other? Xin, do you know who I hate the most? What? Ning Ziyuan was stunned. It's a liar. I'm not lying, Mian. Yesterday was the first time I did something stupid. I won't do it again. But the police told me that you have a criminal record in the police station. It's not the first time you've committed rape. You're a repeat offender. As soon as Huamin finished speaking, Ning Ziyuan's face immediately turned pale. After a long while, he stuttered and said, Don't listen to the nonsense of those stinky policemen. They are all black money. They only want money after they catch people and frame me. Ziyuan, that's not the point. The point is that we can't go back. Why? Do you still want to be with your ex-boyfriend? Just because he's richer than me? Ning Ziyuan was a little angry. Don't drag him into this. It has nothing to do with him. I don't believe you. You must still love him and can't forget him, right? Ning Ziyuan asked aggressively. Ziyuan, I already explained. You know that I never lie. The truth is what it is. Then there's no chance of us getting back together? Ning Ziyuan asked bitterly. Huamin was silent. Okay, I got it. After speaking, Ning Ziyuan took out a wad of cash from his bag and placed it on the coffee table. I heard that you paid 2,000 yuan for my bail yesterday, and another 1,000 for my hotel room. That's a total of 3,000 yuan. Here, I don't want to owe you anything. Or even now. Huamin, I'm warning you, don't regret what you did today. When that rich kid doesn't want you anymore and has had enough of you, don't come begging me to take you in. I gave you a chance, but you didn't cherish it. Huamin was speechless upon hearing this. After Ning Ziyuan finished speaking, he turned around and opened the door to leave. Hey, you still haven't taken your stuff? I don't want it, throw it away, Ning Ziyuan said angrily as he slammed the door and left. This time, everything between them was completely over, right? Huamin thought. Just then his phone rang. Huamin turned around to pick it up. Chapter 43. Jixin. When Huamin picked up the phone, his voice was filled with love. Sis, are you off today? Then let's go visit Dad's grave at noon. Even if Jixin didn't call, Huamin was going to go anyway. It had been 7 years since Uncle Jing passed away. 7 years ago today, Uncle Jing got into a car accident. I went with Mom this morning and she wasn't in a good mood. I'll go with you again at noon. Don't you have classes today? No, I'll go to the library to study in the afternoon. Okay, wait for me. I'll see you at the entrance of the cemetery. After hanging up the phone, Huamin's heart sank. She still remembered that night 7 years ago, when she was on her way back from cram school. A black Buick business van drove straight at her, and she didn't have time to dodge. At that moment, Uncle Jing, who came to pick her up from school, suddenly rushed out and pushed her away. In the end, she could only watch as Uncle Jing died under the wheels of the car, and his blood flowed like a river. She was only slightly injured, but Uncle Jing had lost his life. If it weren't for her, Uncle Jing wouldn't have died originally. She thought it was just a traffic accident. However, when she found out that the driver who caused the accident was the Qin family's driver, she was dumbfounded. The Qin family was so bold that they didn't even hesitate to hire a hitman to kill someone. Did they need their own driver to do the job? These rich families didn't care about ordinary people at all. Her mother and brother were heartbroken. She went to court time and time again to sue the driver. At that time, the Qin family had already sent Qin Chu abroad. She, on the other hand, had to bear the pressure that normal people couldn't bear. In the end, they insisted on not paying compensation. The driver who caused the accident took the blame and went to jail. However, he was only sentenced to 5 years of drunk driving. At that time, she deeply felt the unfairness of the world, the difference between the rich and the poor. She also knew that with her background, she would never be able to fit in with a rich family like the Qin family. It was also at that time that she completely gave up on the idea of being together with Qin Chu. Putting away these heavy memories, Huamin washed his face and changed into a pair of black pants and a black short-sleeved shirt. Then, he put on a pair of black sunglasses and went out. When he passed by a flower shop, he bought a bunch of white chrysanthemums. Because the cemetery was in the suburbs, they had to transfer 3 times. When they arrived at the cemetery, it was almost noon. "Sis." Jing Jixin waved at Huamin from afar. "You've been waiting for a long time, haven't you?" Huamin lovingly patted Jing Jixin's head. "Not too long, only about 10 minutes. Sis, you seem to have lost weight recently. Is it because there are too many night shifts?" In the face of his brother's concern, Huamin only smiled faintly. "No, I've been on a diet recently." The siblings then entered the cemetery together and placed the flowers in front of Uncle Jing's tombstone. There was also a basket of fruits and flowers that their mother had sent over in the morning. "Jixin, all these years, have you ever blamed and resented me like Mom did?" Huamin took off his sunglasses, his expression sorrowful. Jing Jixin looked at his sister beside him and had a big reaction. "Sis, what are you talking about? How could I? I can't blame you for what happened back then. The Qin family are all bad people. If Dad didn't die, you would have died. You guys are the closest to me. But if I didn't ignore the warning and date Qin Chu, that tragedy wouldn't have happened." Huamin bit her lip, her heart filled with guilt. After hearing what Jing Jixin said, Huamin was extremely surprised. She couldn't believe that her 19-year-old brother would say something like that. Chapter 44. Jing Jixin said, "Sis, there's nothing wrong with love. You're not the one at fault. The Qin family is too despicable. Back then, they used despicable means to break you guys up. You must have felt terrible too, right? You're also deeply in love with Qin Chu, aren't you?" Jixin. Huamin suddenly didn't know what to say. "Sis, don't think that I'm a child who doesn't know anything. Also, I know that you and brother Ziyuan broke up. When I called him that day, I could tell that something was wrong with the two of you. Although he didn't say it explicitly, I knew that something was wrong. Also, before Mom was hospitalized that day, brother Ziyuan came to our house. When I linked these two things together, I thought that you might not like brother Ziyuan at all. You still love brother Ziyuan and can't let go of him, so I won't blame or resent you. Dad is dead and can't be brought back to life. I only hope that you won't leave yourself with any regrets in the future. Love is something that can't be forced. I read in a magazine that love is like drinking water. Brother Ziyuan might be a good person, but he's not the one you love, so I don't want you to find a man you don't love for the rest of your life. If you still like brother Qin Chu, then be with him. Even if Mom doesn't approve and hates you and scolds you, I won't do that. I'll understand. Every debt has its debtor. You can't blame brother Qin Chu for what the Qin family did. I still stand by what I said. As long as you're happy, it's fine." When Jing Jixin finished speaking, Huamin's face was already covered in tears. She wasn't someone who cried easily. She didn't shed a single tear when she broke up with Ning Ziyuan. However, her brother's words today deeply shocked her. Her brother was only 19 years old. It was rare for him to stand in her shoes and think for her. There was a popular saying that went, "A lot of people only care about how high you fly. Only those who truly care about you care about whether you're tired or not." Her brother was this kind of little warm guy. He always encouraged Huamin when she was feeling down. All these years, other than helping her brother financially, Huamin felt that she was not a qualified sister. At the very least, she had never cared about her younger brother like this, paying attention to her younger brother's true thoughts. "Sis, don't cry. You're already so old. Hurry up and wipe your tears. It's so ugly. Jing Jixin handed her a pack of tissues. Huamin wiped away his tears and sobbed. Jixin, I didn't know you knew everything. Thank you for understanding me. What nonsense are you talking about? We're siblings. You and Mom are the people I love the most in the world. Jing Jixin smiled, revealing his 2 canine teeth. Huamin's eyes glistened with tears. She thought to herself, Uncle Jing, please bless me and Jixin. Please bless us so that we'll be safe and sound in the future. We can't afford to lose anything. When they walked out of the cemetery, it was already 1 in the afternoon. Are you going back to the library to study? There's still time. Sis, I'm so hungry. Let's eat something together. Huamin nodded. Then, the two of them took the bus back to the city. They found a small restaurant near Jing Jixin's university and ordered 2 dishes and a bowl of soup. Although it was simple, they ate with relish. Jing Jixin was only in his 2nd semester of university. His university wasn't the best, but it wasn't bad either. He majored in civil engineering and was said to be an engineer in the future. Sis, when I graduate and find a job, I can support the family with you. Then, you and Mom won't have to work so hard anymore. Okay. Huamin smiled and nodded. After dinner, Huamin bought some fruits for her brother and walked him all the way to the school gate. Sis, hurry up and go back. Call me if you need anything. Jing Jixin waved goodbye to Huamin. When Huamin returned to her rented apartment, she spent the entire afternoon cleaning. As a medical worker, she was seriously obsessed with cleanliness. By the time she finished, it was almost 6 in the evening. Exhausted, she curled up on the sofa and watched TV to pass the time. Just then her phone rang. She looked at the caller ID and saw that it was an unknown number. Are you Jing Jixin's sister? A boy on the other side of the phone asked anxiously. I am. Sis, I'm Jing Jixin's roommate. Jing Jixin just got into a car accident on campus. He's being sent to the first hospital in the city right now. Hurry up and go. After hearing this, Huamin felt her vision go dark, and she almost fainted. Chapter 45. Huamin didn't even remember how she walked out of the house until she arrived at the hospital's emergency room. The doors to the operating room were closed, and many people were waiting outside. She saw her mother lying limp on a chair in the hallway, crying her heart out. Mom, how's Jixin? My poor Jixin, you have to be safe, or else how am I going to live? Yang Meirong closed her eyes and cried as if she couldn't see Huamin. 2 nurses were about to come over and scold her for being quiet, but when they saw Huamin, they were surprised. Huamin, are you a family member of the patient as well? Huamin nodded with a pale face. Slightly. How's my brother? What's his situation? I don't know yet, but he was pretty scary when he was brought in. His heart rate was irregular, and his blood pressure was terrifyingly high. The doctor is trying to save him right now, just wait. Okay, I got it. Huamin felt weak all over, as if she was about to collapse. They were still eating lunch together, talking and laughing. How did this happen in the afternoon? If something really happened to Jixin, she couldn't imagine how she and her mother would live on. 7 years ago, Uncle Jing's death had already cast a layer of frost over the family. If something happened to her brother, she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to live on. Just then she saw the other family members crying. Only then did she remember to ask what was going on. Then, a middle-aged man in his 40s walked over, wearing gold-rimmed glasses. Huamin recognized him. He was Jing Jixin's university teacher. Mr. Sun, what happened? It's like this. Apparently Jing Jixin got into a car accident on his way back to his dorm from the library. This time, Jing Jixin wasn't the only one who got into an accident. 3 other children were also seriously injured. It was a chain accident, the teacher replied with a heavy tone. Huamin was slightly shocked. How is that possible? Isn't there a speed limit on campus? How could such a serious accident happen if the speed was so slow? I wasn't there at the time. I'll have to wait for the surveillance footage to come out. However, according to the students who witnessed it, a Porsche sports car was speeding and destroyed a lot of public goods in the school. It also injured 4 students and finally hit a big tree. Porsche sports car. Huamin frowned. She couldn't imagine what kind of person would drive a sports car in a crowded university campus. He even destroyed a lot of public property. Where's the perpetrator? Where is it? Huamin was fuming. They have already escaped. The girl in the passenger seat is also said to be seriously injured and is in the hospital for emergency treatment. However, the school has already called the police. The traffic police and the police are already involved in this matter. You don't have to worry. How can I not be worried? I still don't know what's going on with my brother. Huamin's tears fell as he spoke. 3 hours later, the door to the operating theater opened. Huamin and his mother rushed forward to stop the doctor. Dr. Liu, how's my brother? His condition isn't very good. We've already tried our best to resuscitate him, but there's still a blood clot in his brain. Moreover, the location of the clot is very sensitive. We don't have enough time to perform a second surgery. In a moment, the neurosurgery department will come up with a plan and discuss with your family about how to treat him. After hearing this, Huamin and his mother's legs turned to jelly. If the situation wasn't good, it meant that his life wasn't out of danger. She knew the theory behind intracranial hemorrhage. The surgery she did with Qin Chu was similar to this one. It was an extremely difficult surgery. Even the slightest mistake would leave behind sequelae. In the best-case scenario, it would result in a decrease in intelligence and uncoordinated limbs. In the worst-case scenario, it would result in paralysis or a vegetative state. Oh my God, my poor son. What have I done to deserve this? Yang Meng knelt on the ground and wailed. At this moment, Huamin felt like the sky was falling down. Chapter 46. Patient's family, quiet down. We can't make noise here. The medical staff immediately stopped them. Mom, calm down. Shut up. It's all your fault, you jinx. You killed Jixin's father, and now you're here to kill Jixin. I really regret having a jinx like you as my daughter. It's all my fault. Yang Meirong cried as she hit Huamin. Huamin was also very sad, but he couldn't say anything. Just then, Yang Meirong suddenly grabbed Huamin's collar and yelled, "Did the Qin family do it? Did you seduce their son again? Is that why they're trying to hurt us again? Tell me. Calm down. This was an accident. The teacher said it was a chain accident, not a premeditated accident," Huamin explained. I don't believe it. It must be you, it must be that family. It must be them, I'm going to kill them. After speaking, Yang Meirong was about to run out. Mom. Huamin held onto his mother's hand with a sobbing tone. Finally, his mother's body fell forward and she fell flat on the ground. Mom, wake up. Huamin felt like his brain was about to explode. His brother was still in critical condition, and his mother had fainted. Huamin suffered 2 blows in one day and was on the verge of collapse. After helping his mother settle down, Huamin pulled himself together and walked towards the top floor of the hospital. Outside the director's office, I want to see the director, Huamin said to the male assistant at the door. Do you have an appointment? The assistant had met Huamin before, so he was familiar with him. He nodded and said, Wait a moment, I'll go inform him. Soon, the assistant walked out and said, You can go in now. Thank you. When Huamin walked in, he saw the director sitting in his chair, writing something down. President Wu. Oh, you're here. Have a seat. The director was no stranger to this intern nurse. Huamin nodded. His eyes were red as he sat down on the chair opposite the dean. You must be looking for me. Speak. The hospital director thought that perhaps the nurse felt that the bonus he had given her last time was not enough, so she came to ask for something again. Unexpectedly, Huamin almost burst into tears the moment he opened his mouth. Director, I beg you, please save my brother. What happened? Tell me slowly, don't rush. President Wu looked at her and stopped what he was doing. He adjusted his glasses and said in a serious tone, Director, my younger brother was involved in a car accident at school today and was sent to our hospital for emergency treatment. The chief surgeon said that his head was severely damaged and he was still in critical condition after this operation. He also suggested a second operation in the near future. However, because the location of the damage in his brain is relatively sensitive, the risk of the second operation is very high. He is only 19 years old today. I only have one younger brother and I don't want to lose him. Please help me. I see. Don't worry, I'll make a call and ask. Then, President Wu dialed the internal line of the Department of Neurosurgery and talked to the doctor there. A few minutes later, President Wu hung up the phone and said in a serious tone, "Huamin, your brother's situation is really complicated. Dr. Liu from the Department of Neurosurgery told me that he is not confident that he can perform the operation well. Even if the operation is successful, the patient may suffer from sequelae. Then what should we do? What if we don't perform the second operation? Will it be better?" Huamin was anxious. President Wu shook his head. "Listen to me. The current situation is like this. If we don't perform the second operation, his life will be in danger at any time. Because if the blood clot in the brain is not completely removed, it may cause a brain hemorrhage. This is very important. Then what should we do?" Huamin was a little dumbfounded. For the first time, she was at a loss. "How about this? You go home and think about it, and discuss it with your family. However, I have to remind you that even if you perform the second operation, the cost will be quite expensive. It will cost at least 300,000 yuan, and it's best if you do it within a week. Otherwise, the longer you delay it, the higher the risk. As for the hospital fees, don't worry. I've already made arrangements, and you don't have to pay for it yet. We'll settle it together in the future. Thank you, Director. I'll go home and think about it." After she finished speaking, Huamin stood up in a daze. 300,000 yuan for the operation was a sky-high price. Where was she going to find that much money? "Wait a minute." The director suddenly shouted. Huamin turned around tiredly. "Huamin, the special professor who performed the operation on the leader, Dr. Qin, is an old acquaintance of yours, right?" President Wu suddenly thought of this key question. Chapter 47. After a moment of hesitation, Huamin nodded. She knew that she couldn't hide this from the director. "Yes, we've known each other for a long time," she said evasively. "That's easy. If you're a friend, I suggest that you ask Dr. Qin to operate on your brother. You should know that he's a medical doctor from Harvard and is an authoritative expert in neurosurgery. You should have seen how he operated on the leader last time. If he agrees to be the chief surgeon, with the help of our hospital's chief surgeon, your brother's chances of success will be much higher. What do you think?" "Okay, I'll think about it. Thank you for the reminder." After speaking, Huamin turned around and left the director's office. She felt extremely conflicted. Should she ask Qin Chu for help? This was worse than killing her. She needed to raise money first. After all, 300,000 yuan wasn't a small amount. Inside the hospital room, when Huamin walked in, his mother was already awake. She was still in a bad mood. "Mom, I have something to discuss with you," Huamin said quietly. Yang Meirong turned her head away. Her face was pale and she didn't respond. "I just went to the director's office and asked about Jixin's condition. The director also suggested that Jixin undergo a second surgery, but it's very expensive. It'll cost 300,000 yuan. Even if we have to sell our house and our land, we have to save Jixin. Money is nothing," Yang Meirong said fiercely as she glared at Huamin. Huamin nodded. "That's what I think too. I'll do whatever it takes to save Jixin. Mom, you have to take care of yourself. Leave the rest to me. I'll go raise the money first." "We can sell the house, we can rent it," Yang Meirong lowered her head and said in a muffled voice. "It's too late to sell the house now. The second surgery will happen in a few days. I'll think of something. You rest well." After speaking, Huamin turned around and walked out of the hospital room. She took a deep breath and tried to calm herself down. Then, she took out her phone and opened her contacts. She looked through each and every one of them to see if there was anyone who could help her at this critical moment. At this moment, she thought of someone, Ning Ziyuan. It wasn't because they had to borrow money from Ning Ziyuan. It was just that when they bought the house, Huamin had also taken 60,000 yuan for the surgery. Her salary was not high. She had saved 60,000 yuan while working part-time. It was not easy. Therefore, she wanted to ask Ning Ziyuan if he could return the money to her. Then, she went to Ning Ziyuan's new house. She had only been to this place a few times. Initially, she had planned to move in after she got married. However, after they broke up, there was nothing else. This was a 33-story apartment building. It was located at the edge of the 3rd Ring Road, and the transportation was quite convenient. Ning Ziyuan lived on the 9th floor. Huamin took the elevator directly to the 9th floor, room 902. Just as he was about to knock on the door, he saw that the door was ajar. She slowly opened the door. Before she walked in, she saw a pair of women's high heels at the door. They were purple and very seductive. Then, a flirtatious voice came from the bedroom. "Aya, you haven't showered yet. Go, you're so dirty. There's no rush. I'll shower after I'm done." Ning Ziyuan's voice had a hint of playfulness. Huamin thought that she had come at the wrong time. It was better not to say anything. Just as she was about to turn around and leave, she accidentally knocked into a pair of shoes on the shoe rack, making a loud noise. "Who is it?" Ning Ziyuan immediately walked out of the bedroom to check. When he saw Huamin, he was obviously surprised and then embarrassed. "Why are you here?" Huamin saw that Ning Ziyuan was only wearing boxers. She immediately turned her head and said, "Something happened at home and I need some money. So, I wanted to ask if you could return me the money I paid for the down payment." Chapter 48. Money? No, I used it all to buy a house. If you want it, just wait. I'll pay you back when I have enough money. Okay, I got it. Huamin turned to leave. "Huamin, what happened to your family?" Jixin got into a car accident. Huamin's voice was a bit hoarse. "It's useless for you to come to me after something this big happened. You should go to your rich ex-boyfriend," Ning Ziyuan suddenly said. Huamin didn't say anything. Disappointment was written all over his face as he turned to leave. After saying that, Ning Ziyuan regretted his words. Why did he have to be so sarcastic? One whose voice is that? "Why aren't you coming in?" A woman's sweet voice came from the bedroom. Ning Ziyuan still had money on his card. He used it to buy things for his wedding banquet. He still had 100,000 yuan left. If he took it out now, would Huamin be touched and want to get back together with him? However, if Huamin took the money and still didn't want to get back together with him, then he would lose more than he gained. After walking out of Ning Ziyuan's apartment, Huamin received a call from Zhu Lingling. "Girl, I just got off the plane. I saw your message. What happened? Why did you borrow so much money?" Zhu Lingling sounded anxious. "Jixin got into a car accident. He's in the hospital. I need 300,000 yuan for the surgery." Huamin's voice was hoarse. "What? Jixin got into a car accident? Don't worry. Where are you? I'll come to you right now. I'm at the Rainbow Mall in San Juan. Okay, see you in a bit." Half an hour later, Zhu Lingling arrived in a taxi. She and Huamin found a KFC and sat down. "Lingling, I really don't know what to do. What did the police say? Where's the perpetrator?" "They're still investigating. Apparently, 4 or 5 students were injured this time. My brother wasn't the only one, so it's very troublesome for the police to deal with it. It'll also take some time to get the compensation, but Jixin's surgery can't wait that long. The sooner the better." "I understand. How about this? I have 80,000 yuan in my savings. You can take it first. Then I'll go back and borrow some from my parents, my cousin, and my friends. I'll get about 130,000 yuan for you. If the rest is not enough, we'll think of other ways." "Thank you, Lingling." Huamin grabbed Zhu Lingling's hand, his eyes red. "Silly, we're best friends. Why are you thanking me? If I don't help you now, when will I? I'll make more money later. I just want Jixin to be safe." Huamin nodded. "Mian, why don't we ask for help from the media? As long as the media announces it, everyone will donate some money and we'll have enough." Huamin hesitated for a moment before replying, "I thought about that too, but if we alert the media and the whole city knows about it, Jixin will be under a lot of pressure when he goes back to school after he recovers. I don't want people to look at him with sympathy, do you understand?" After all, He's a boy and has a lot of pride. I don't want to do that unless I have no other choice. You're right, I didn't think about it. It's okay, don't worry. We'll think of something. After parting ways with Zhu Lingling, Huamin went back to his rented apartment and washed his face. Just then a WeChat notification popped up. Goddess Hua, are you there? It was from her high school classmate, Wei Dong. Yeah, what's up? I heard from Zhu Lingling that your brother got into a car accident and needs money for surgery. Is that right? Yes. I have some, I can lend it to you. Really? Thank you. Huamin was a little excited. Let's meet up and talk about it. Okay. Huamin was very enthusiastic about anything related to Jixin. At 6:30 p.m., Huamin met up with Wei Dong at a nearby Thai restaurant. He drove a black Mercedes-Benz GLK and wore an Armani suit. He had a Louis Vuitton handbag in his hand and a Longines diamond watch on his wrist. He looked like a tycoon. On the other hand, Huamin only wore a white t-shirt and jeans, looking very normal. Have you been waiting for a while? Wei Dong asked with a smile. Chapter 49. Huamin shook her head. Nope, I just got here a few minutes ago. Let's order first. What do you want to eat? Anything. I don't have much of an appetite. The waiter ordered a couple's set meal, followed by a fruit salad and dessert. Sir. After ordering the fruit meal, Wei Dong turned around and looked at Huamin. He seemed to be in a good mood. Huamin, how's your brother doing? Not too good. He's waiting for the second surgery. Don't worry, he'll get better. Thank you. The two of them exchanged some pleasantries before Wei Dong brought up the matter of money. I didn't bring the money today. It's not convenient for me to have too much cash with me. I can go to the company tomorrow and ask the finance department to transfer the money to you. You can just send your card number to my WeChat. Thank you, Wei Dong. I'll pay you back as soon as possible. Interest is fine too. What are you talking about? We're old classmates. What do you mean by interest? You're looking down on me. That's not what I meant. I'm just grateful that you can help me. You're welcome. Actually, there's something else I want to say. You might think I'm despicable, but I'm speaking from the bottom of my heart. Huamin, you don't have to pay me back. I only have one condition. Will you be my girlfriend? Huamin's expression changed slightly. She wasn't too surprised. With her intelligence, there was no way she wouldn't know what Wei Dong was thinking. There was no free lunch in this world, and there was no pie that fell from the sky. Everything had a price. But I heard from Lingling that you have a girlfriend. I don't want to get involved in someone else's relationship, Huamin replied faintly. Huamian, give me a chance. I'll definitely treat you well. I'm not playing around. I can get engaged to you immediately and get married within a month. If I marry you, I'll buy you a car and a house so you can live a good life. I'll even take care of your mother and brother for the rest of my life. Wei Dong reached out to hold Huamin's hand. However, before he could touch her, Huamin raised her head and put her hand on her hair. It looked like she was tidying her hair, but she was actually trying to diffuse the awkwardness. Wei Dong, you don't like money diggers. You don't like women following you for money. But how can you be sure that I'm not following you for money? I'm not a fairy, and I'm not otherworldly. I also have a desire for money. The Lollidragon on TV is just a story. It doesn't exist. Don't have too many fantasies and expectations of me. There's always a gap between reality and fantasy. Huamin had said this to Wei Dong before, but he didn't seem to take it to heart. No, you're not. If you were doing this for money, you wouldn't have dumped Qin Chu. Compared to my family is nothing, Wei Dong swore as he threw out this excuse. Upon hearing Qin Chu's name, Huamin felt a dull ache in her heart. Qin Chu was a past she couldn't go back to. Huamin, I really like you. Please give me a chance. Wei Dong begged again, his eyes full of sincerity. Chapter 50. About this, let me think about it, then I'll give you an answer. Okay, I'll wait for you. Wei Dong stared at Huamin in a daze. After leaving the cafeteria, Huamin went straight to the hospital. Her brother showed no signs of waking up and was being monitored in the VIP ward. Her mother's mental state was even worse. Her blood pressure was unstable and would rise from time to time. Huamin sat on the bench outside the VIP ward tiredly with her head lowered. Huamin. Head nurse, Huamin said with difficulty when she saw who it was. I've heard about what happened to you. I'm giving you a few days off to take care of your brother. Thank you, head nurse. I know about your family situation. Everyone in the OB/GYN department put together 5,000 yuan of our own accord. Take it, we'll think of something else if it's not enough. No, I can't take it, head nurse. Huamin was a little flustered. Take it, it's a small token of our appreciation. I hope your brother recovers soon. Huamin nodded, tears glistening in her eyes. She begged Ning's yuan, but it was useless. She begged her classmates, but they made conditions. They said that they were taking advantage of the situation, but they were taking advantage of the situation. Now that her colleagues were doing this for her, she was very touched. In reality, kindness was mutual. Huamin had worked hard in the OB/GYN department for the past 6 months. She had done all sorts of hard work and often worked overtime for her colleagues. She was very popular. Although the head nurse was strict, she was a very nice person. I'll go back to work then. Cheer up, your brother still needs you. After patting Huamin's shoulder, the head nurse turned around and left. Just then she received a WeChat message. Huamin took out her phone and saw that it was from Zhu Lingling. I heard that you borrowed money from Wei Dong? Don't borrow money from him. You know how he feels about you. You're like a lamb in a tiger's den. Are you saying that the sheep Wei Dong entered the mouth of this tigress? Stop fooling around. Are you kidding me? I'm serious. He definitely won't lend it to you for free. Zhu Lingling was annoyed. Yes, he does have a condition. He said that he wants to get engaged to me and get married within a month. What do you think? I want to agree. Are you crazy? You want to marry him? That kind of person? Don't you know what kind of person he is? Zhu Lingling was anxious. Lingling, I'm going to get married anyway. It doesn't matter who I marry. I don't like him anyway, so what does it matter? Zhu Lingling remained silent. After a while, Zhu Lingling replied carefully, Mian, have you thought about asking Qin Chu for help? Maybe he can help you. I'd rather marry Wei Dong than beg Qin Chu. Seeing how determined Huamin was, Zhu Lingling didn't say anything else. After Wei Dong went home, he was in a great mood. He knew that Huamin was in desperate need of money, so it was only a matter of time before he agreed. Therefore, he told his class president, Han Su, about this to show off. So, word spread among the classmates, and the news spread like wildfire. Qin Chu was in the middle of a meeting when he suddenly received a friend request on WeChat. It was from his high school classmate, Lu Xing. Qin Chu originally planned to ignore her, but when Lu Xing added Qin Chu, she wrote something in the note column that caught Qin Chu's attention. Huamin is going to marry Wei Dong. Qin Chu's face immediately darkened when he saw this. He slammed his phone on the table, shocking all of GK's executives. Chapter 51. President Qin, are we still going on with the meeting? The vice president asked nervously. Without another word, Qin Chu picked up his phone from the table and left. Assistant Yang quietly waved his hand at the higher-ups, indicating that they could all go back to their own business. The president was in a bad mood, so there was no point in continuing the meeting. After Qin Chu returned to his office, he took off his jacket and tossed it onto the sofa. Assistant Yang was so scared that he didn't dare to make a sound, and the atmosphere in the office became extremely tense. Tell everyone that all subsidiaries of the GK Group are to cancel all collaborations with Dashang Steelworks. Also, tell all our partners that GK will never work with them again if they work with Dashang Steelworks. President Qin, you're talking about Dashang Steelworks, right? Let me confirm. Assistant Yang had been an assistant for a long time, but this was the first time he heard his boss give out such a harsh order. If he remembered correctly, Dashang Steelworks was only a small and medium-sized construction company in the city. Perhaps GK's subsidiary real estate companies had worked with them before? Speaking of which, how did the person in charge of Dashang Steelworks offend his boss? Did he steal a woman or dig up his ancestors' graves? What made his boss so angry? I think you're done as an assistant, Qin Chu said coldly. President Qin, I'll do it right now. Assistant Yang was so scared that he ran out like a puff of smoke, not daring to stay a minute longer. Qin Chu looked at the message Lu Xing sent him on his phone. His lips twitched and he said, "You're asking for it." Wei Dong was indeed someone who wouldn't die if he didn't seek death. He knew that Huamin was Qin Chu's beloved woman, but he still threw himself at her. If that wasn't asking for it, then what was? Of course, he thought that Qin Chu and Huamin were already in the past. After all, ever since he came back to China, he hadn't heard any rumors about him and Huamin. Other than Zhu Lingling, no one else knew much about Huamin and Qin Chu. Dashang Steelworks Corporation Wei Dong's father, Wei Changfu, was very anxious. He made many phone calls and dragged many of his friends to help, but none of them could solve the problem. What an unexpected disaster. The company's big clients didn't dare to offend GK, so they canceled their contracts with them. GK Real Estate, the only subsidiary they had ever worked with, also announced that they would no longer work with them. This was equivalent to cutting off his source of income. Without the support of these large companies, he could only earn a fraction of his monthly income. It wasn't even enough to pay the employees' salaries. What kind of bullshit company was this? Dad, what's wrong? Wei Dong was having dinner with his friends when he received his father's call and immediately returned to the company. Something big has happened. What is it? Why is it so serious? Wei Dong asked out of the blue. Then, Wei Changfu told him everything that had happened. In the end, he cursed, "God damn it, I don't know how we offended GK. How dare they blacklist a small company like us? These days, it's the law of the jungle. We can't afford to offend GK. I called GK's headquarters to talk to the higher-ups, but they didn't even give me a chance. What should we do? Dashang worked so hard to achieve what it is today. Are we really going to let it all go down the drain?" When Wei Dong heard about GK, he suddenly thought of something. "Dad, let me try. I have a classmate at GK. Do you have a way?" Wei Changfu felt a glimmer of hope. "I'll try talking to him first." After speaking, Wei Dong stormed out of the company with a furious expression. Then he sent a WeChat message to his classmate group. "Does anyone have Qin Chu's phone number? Send it to me." After a while, no one replied. Helpless, he couldn't wait any longer. He drove all the way to GK's headquarters. "I want to see Qin Chu." "Do you have an appointment?" the receptionist asked politely. Chapter 52. "No. I'm sorry, sir, but President Qin is very busy. You can't see him without an appointment." "Stop pretending I was his high school classmate." "No, sir, please don't make it difficult for me. If you were his high school classmate, you should have his contact information. I suggest you call our president directly." Wei Dong wanted to force his way in, but GK's security system was too strong. He couldn't even get to the first floor. Plus, he could go straight to the top floor of the 56th floor. When Qin Chu drove his low-key Audi R8 home, Wei Dong flagged down his car at the entrance of the parking lot. If Qin Chu didn't brake in time, he would have gone up. Qin Chu stopped the car with an unpleasant expression on his face, and he slowly rolled down the window. "Qin Chu, get out of the car, let's talk," Wei Dong said angrily. "I don't think I have anything to talk to you about." Qin Chu was still as arrogant as ever. Of all his high school classmates, other than Huamin, he wouldn't even look at anyone else. He definitely wouldn't give Wei Dong face. "Why are you doing this to my company? What did I do to offend you? Why are you forcing us to do this?" Wei Dong's face was filled with anger. Qin Chu raised his head, his eyes cold. "I'm going to buy your company at a low price within a week, leaving you and your father with hundreds of millions in debt. When the time comes, you'll have no choice but to jump off a building. That's the only way out for you." After hearing this, Wei Dong's face turned pale. If someone else said this, he would have laughed out loud and called them bragging. If it was Qin Chu who said this, then he would have cried his heart out. Who is Qin Chu? He was the heir of GK, and his family business was one of the best in the country. He was one of the top 50 business giants in Asia. It would be a piece of cake for him to wipe out a small company like theirs. Qin Chu, why are you doing this? We were classmates. Don't tell me, you still like Huamin, and you're afraid that I'll steal him from you? Wei Dong wasn't stupid, and he suddenly realized the key point. You want to fight with me? You really think highly of yourself. Are you worthy? Qin Chu sneered. Wei Dong was speechless. He was indeed unworthy. I'll give you 1 hour to draw a clear line between you and Huamin. Otherwise, you'll die a horrible death. After speaking, Qin Chu rolled up the car window and left the garage. Wei Dong stood rooted to the ground, dumbfounded. He really liked Huamin and really wanted to marry her. However, his dream had been ruined before even a day had passed. It seemed like he would never be able to marry a goddess in this lifetime. Huamin took off his clothes and was about to wash them when his phone rang. She picked it up and saw that it was a call from Wei Dong. She knew what she wanted to say. Therefore, she picked up the phone and before Wei Dong could speak, she said, I've thought about it. I agreed to your conditions. I'll get engaged to you. Please transfer the money to me quickly. My brother can't wait any longer. Huamin, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. On the other end of the phone, Wei Dong's voice was choked with emotion. What's wrong? Did something happen? Huamin asked, sensing that something was wrong with Wei Dong's tone. I don't think I can lend you money. After hearing Wei Dong's words, Huamin's heart sank. Chapter 53. What's wrong? Are you afraid that I won't fulfill my promise after taking your money? I won't, I will do what I promise you, Huamin anxiously explained. No, it's not your problem, it's mine. I'm sorry, I don't have the face to see you anymore. Then, before Huamin could say anything, Wei Dong hurriedly hung up the phone. Huamin felt as if her world had collapsed again. The 300,000 yuan that she had worked so hard to gather was now gone in an instant. She really wanted to cry, but Jixin was still waiting for her in the VIP operating room. In the end, she thought that if she couldn't do it, then she would go to the media. Even if everyone laughed at her, she didn't care. Saving Jixin's life was more important. She picked up her phone and was about to search for the media when she received a call from the hospital. Mian, hurry up and come over. Your brother's condition isn't good. Okay, I'll be right there. Half an hour later, outside the VIP room of the first hospital dash. This situation is rare, but it also means that the patient can't afford to wait any longer. I suggest we perform the surgery immediately, but I'm not sure. Huamian, I heard from the director that you know Dr. Qin, the special guest professor from last time. If that's the case, I suggest you ask Dr. Qin to perform the surgery. He'll be able to handle it better. After all, you don't want to see any sequelae. Let me think about it. There's no time to think. The patient is suffering from secondary cerebral hemorrhage. If this drags on, he'll die. Okay, wait for me. I'll go now. In the end, her love for Jixin overcame all rationality. Even if Qin Chu laughed at her, even if Qin Chu made things difficult for her, she had to try, for her dearest brother. Qin clan headquarters dash. President Qin, there's a lady here to see you. She says her surname is Hua, the receptionist called. Let her in, Qin Chu thought. Other than Huamin, he didn't know another woman with the surname Hua. 5 minutes later, Huamin knocked on the door. Come in. Huamin opened the door and walked in. Qin Chu was standing in front of the floor-to-ceiling window. The moment he turned around, his eyes were filled with endless gentleness. It seemed that only Huamin could see such a look in his eyes. You've come? I came to find you because it's urgent. Go ahead. After hesitating for a moment, Huamin looked at Qin Chu and said slowly, My brother was in a car accident and is being treated in our hospital. However, because of intracranial hemorrhage, the surgery is very difficult and requires a second surgery. The doctors in the hospital are not confident. The director also talked to me and recommended you to be the doctor in charge this time. Also? Say it all at once. Qin Chu looked at her and said, Also, the surgery costs 300,000 yuan. Even if you do the surgery, the equipment and drugs in the hospital will cost money. I don't have money. Can you lend me some more money? Huan Min bit her lip and said these two requests with great difficulty. She had thought that Qin Chu would mock her and even make her kneel down, but Huan Mian didn't expect him to do that. After all, 7 years ago, she was the one who abandoned him. She even announced to the entire school that she and Qin Chu were purely classmates at the graduation ceremony. This broke Qin Chu's heart and forced him to leave the country. She thought that now was the time for him to take revenge on her. However, to her surprise, Qin Chu only said, "Sure, no problem." Really? Huan Min was in disbelief. The truth was, Qin Chu already knew about Huan Min's brother. Huan Min probably didn't know that Qin Chu was watching her every move. After Lu Xing sent that WeChat message, Qin Chu even checked Huan Min's call records with Wei Dong. That was why he gave the order to kill Deshang Steel Works. Therefore, when Huan Min said this, Qin Chu didn't think it was sudden. He even thought it was an opportunity. I can do the surgery for your brother myself, and I can give you 300,000 yuan, but... Qin Chu paused. Huan Min was slightly disappointed. She knew that he wouldn't help her for free. You have to marry me. What? Huan Min was stunned. What kind of situation was this? How could he bring up the word, marriage? Marry me and I'll help you. Otherwise, no way. Qin Chu's tone was extremely firm. Chapter 54. You just want me. Why do you have to go through all the trouble of getting married? Just tell me how many times you want to sleep with me. Huan Min sneered. She thought Qin Chu was just like Wei Dong, someone who took advantage of others when they were down. Deep down, she looked down on him. You're wrong, I do want to sleep with you, but I want to sleep with my wife openly, not in secret. Huan Min remained silent after hearing this. You can think about it before you answer me. I don't need to think about it. I promise you that you can operate on my brother immediately, Huan Min said without hesitation. Okay, let's go now. I'll take Evergreen Street and we can register when we pass by the Civil Affairs Bureau. Today? Huan Min was dumbfounded. Yeah, what else did you think it was? Qin Chu looked at her with a serious expression. Huan Min was shocked. She didn't think that today was a good day to register their marriage. Are you afraid that I won't keep my promise? Do you not trust me that much? Huan Min smiled bitterly. She thought that Qin Chu was afraid that she wouldn't keep her promise and wouldn't marry him after the surgery. However, she had no idea how long Qin Chu had been waiting for this day. No, I just think that today is a good day. Let's go, we still have to go to the hospital for the surgery. After speaking, Qin Chu picked up his jacket and walked out of the office. Huan Min silently followed behind him. The female secretaries in the secretarial office were dumbfounded. Who's that woman? I thought the president doesn't allow other people into his office? Why is she allowed in? I don't know, she doesn't look like the president's girlfriend. She's not very pretty and she's dressed very normal. Could she be the president's new nanny? Are you crazy? Would the president personally interview a nanny? Why don't we ask Assistant Yang? After the female secretaries finished their discussion, there was indeed someone who didn't know what was good for her and asked Assistant Yang. Assistant Yang, who's that woman? The president seems to treat her differently. How would I know? It's also my first time seeing it, Assistant Yang said innocently. Doesn't registration require a household register? I didn't bring mine, Huan Min said softly from the front passenger seat. No need. Huan Min was dumbfounded again. This was the first time he had heard that a marriage registration did not require a household register. In fact, she had also witnessed Qin Chu's remarkable abilities. Inside the Civil Affairs Bureau in the VIP reception room, the staff handed them a small red booklet. Is that all? Huan Min asked uneasily. Yes, we can check your household registration through the system. I wish you a happy marriage. Let's go. Qin Chu quickly picked up one of the red books. He seemed to be in a good mood. Huan Min followed behind him. He still couldn't believe that they could register without taking anything. She didn't know that when Qin Chu went to the garage to get the car, He called the middle-aged assistant of the leader. Then, he confidently asked for this reward. The middle-aged man was too efficient. How could the Civil Affairs Bureau dare to be negligent? Inside a tea house in Beijing, "Leader, I've done what you asked me to do. This kid is really special. He actually asked for this kind of reward." The old man had white hair and a kind frown on his face. That's why people who call themselves geniuses always come up with unexpected ideas, the middle-aged man said in all seriousness. "Qin Chu, we should go to the hospital," Huamin urged. "From now on, I'm your husband." After speaking, before Huamin could react, Qin Chu suddenly held her face and kissed her deeply. Then, before Huamin could react, he stepped on the gas and the car sped away. Huamin was still in shock in the car. Chapter 55. City First Hospital, Qin Chu was going to be the chief surgeon for Jing Jixin's surgery. When the director heard this, he didn't dare to delay and immediately called for the VIP operating room to be prepared. When Qin Chu changed into a white coat and stood outside the operating room, seriously reading through the information, Huamin looked at him from afar and was surprised by how charming he was. She couldn't believe that everything in front of her was real. There was really a day when she could see him standing in the operating room like a doctor. The light shone on his handsome face. Such a familiar figure, such a man who had once made her love deeply, he was there, so real. She slowly walked over, her footsteps light, but still alerted Qin Chu. The moment he raised his head and saw Huamin, his gaze softened. "I want to go in and be your assistant." "No need, you can wait outside for my news." "Let me in, I went in last time for such an important surgery, so it won't be a problem this time." "I'll be careful," Huamin said stubbornly. Qin Chu looked at her for a few seconds and slowly said, "It's different this time. He's your brother, I don't want you to be distracted." But Huamin didn't seem to want to give up and wanted to say more. Qin Chu said to her, "Do you trust me?" Upon hearing this, Huamin was slightly stunned. "Trust me, leave it to me." After a few seconds of silence, Huamin nodded slightly. "Dr. Qin, the surgery can begin." "Everything is ready." The assistant chief surgeon opened the door and reminded him. Qin Chu took out a mask from the pocket of his coat and slowly put it on. Then, he turned around and walked into the operating room. At that moment, Huamin felt like he was the most handsome man in the world. Huamin waited outside the operating room, inevitably anxious. An hour and a half passed, but there was no sound from inside. Just then, footsteps sounded. Huamin raised his head and was slightly stunned when he saw who it was. "Director, you're here. And what's the situation inside?" "I don't know yet." Huamin was a little worried. "Don't worry, I believe in Dr. Qin's medical skills." Huamin nodded. At this moment, the dean said meaningfully, "I'm afraid you're the only one who can invite him." Huamin was a little embarrassed. She didn't want to use her relationship with Qin Chu as a bargaining chip to show off, and she never felt the need to talk about it with anyone. "I really want Gao Xen to hire him as a visiting professor, but unfortunately, GK's CEO isn't someone we can afford to hire with money. But I'm curious about something as his friend, you should know about it, right?" "What is it?" Huamin asked in a low voice. Dr. Qin was born into a noble family, and he was supposed to be GK's successor when he returned to China. Why did he study at Harvard Medical School after being abroad for 7 years? I think it's a bit puzzling. After Huamin heard this, he bit his lips slightly. After a while, he replied, "Actually, I'm not sure either." Upon hearing her answer, the dean was a little slightly disappointed. "Don't worry, I'm sure the surgery will be a success." "Thank you, Dean." Huamin nodded her head in thanks. The dean was about to turn and leave when he suddenly remembered something. He turned around and said, "An hour ago, the hospital received a payment from GK's finance department for the surgery. It was a total of 500,000 yuan. 300,000 yuan was for your brother's surgery, and I think the remaining 200,000 yuan is for the follow-up treatment." "Is that so?" Huamin was a little surprised. Not only did Qin Chu transfer the money so quickly, but he also added 200,000 yuan for the follow-up treatment. It seemed like he was very thoughtful. Finally, the dean looked at Huamin meaningfully and said, "Huamin, you're very lucky." After speaking, the dean turned around and left. Huamin stood there in a daze. She used to think that she was the luckiest person in the world to have met Qin Chu. Later, when Uncle Jing got into an accident and they broke up, she was in so much pain. She always thought about how great it would be if she never met Qin Chu. How great it would be if she never went to second high. However, now that time had passed, she realized that the dean was right. When she was in a desperate situation, there were so many people around her, but the only person who could help her was Qin Chu. It was as if she felt inexplicably safe with Qin Chu around. Just as her thoughts were running wild, Huamin's phone suddenly rang. "Do you need something from me?" Huamin's tone was cautious when he picked up the phone. Chapter 56. Huamin, I heard your little brother got into a car accident. A man's voice came from the other end of the line. Although she didn't save his phone number, the last 2 digits of his phone number, 9999, left a deep impression on her. This person was indeed Huo Xiqian, the young master of the Huo family and the current vice president of the Huo Corporation. "Yes, what's wrong? Are you here to laugh at me? If you are, you've already seen it. I'm hanging up." Then Huamin was about to hang up. "Wait, what else do you want?" Huamin didn't have a good impression of Huo Xiqian, even though he had been trying to get close to her all these years. For some reason, she didn't like him. Huamin even thought that he should be the same as Huo Yanyan and Huo Si. If he hated her, he should show it instead of being so fake. "Huamin, you misunderstood me. I told you before that I'm different from Huo Yanyan and Huo Si. You all have the same surname. What's the difference?" Huamin asked coldly. "Huh? You're right. Then let me ask you, what's your surname?" Huo Xiqian asked with a smile. "I don't have time to talk about these pointless things with you. I'm very busy. Goodbye." "Huamin, I can lend you money." Just as Huamin was about to hang up, Huo Xiqian blurted out. Huamin was surprised. "What? You want to lend me money?" "Yes, I heard that the driver escaped. The police and traffic police are still investigating and you guys haven't received the appropriate compensation. However, your little brother is hospitalized at the first hospital and needs a lot of money for his treatment. I don't think you have any friends who can give you that much money, including your intern's fiancé. So, I think I can lend you the money. You can pay me back in the future without interest." "Why are you being so nice to me?" Huamin sneered. She understood that one should not be rewarded without any effort. Huo Xiqian was a businessman, not a philanthropist. He definitely wouldn't do a losing business. She was really curious. Why would he do this? "Because you're my sister." Huo Xiqian smiled. "I don't have such a powerful brother like you. I've said it before, don't call me brother and sister anymore. If you want anything, I advise you to give up because I don't have any shares in the Huo family, and the old man won't leave me any inheritance. You've seen all these years, even if I die on the side of the road, he won't care about me, so I really don't have anything to help you, President Huo. You're thinking too much. What could I possibly want from you? I just want to help you." "Really? Thank you, but there's no need. My brother's surgery fees have been settled." "Done? Who paid so much for you?" Huo Xiqian was a little surprised. "You don't need to know that. Plus, I don't think we're close enough to discuss private matters like this. Don't call me too often in the future, I don't have time." With that, Huamin hung up the phone. She really thought that Huo Xiqian was a strange and weird person. Although he was the only one in the Huo family who treated her well, she just didn't like him for some reason. Years ago, after Uncle Jing's accident, she gave up on studying abroad and stayed in China to study at a third-rate university. Huo Xiqian had approached her many times and offered to send her to England, but she had rejected him every time. She really didn't want to have anything to do with the Huo family. She didn't want to go back to that heartless family for the rest of her life. As for her siblings, she only acknowledged Jing Zhixin as her brother. As for the others, she really didn't want to talk to them. Time slowly passed by. 5 hours later, the door to the OR opened. Huamin immediately stood up. Chapter 57. She thought she saw Qin Chu, but to her surprise, it was Dr. Liu from the hospital's neurosurgery department. Dr. Liu, how's my brother? The surgery was a success, excellent. Upon hearing this, Huamin finally let out a sigh of relief. The weight that had been weighing on his heart for the past few days was finally lifted. Your brother is very lucky. The blood clot in his brain is located in a very sensitive area, and there has never been a successful case like this in China. However, Dr. Qin's medical skills are incredible. With him as the lead surgeon, our chances of success are much higher. Dr. Liu was generous with his praise. Huamin smiled slightly. Everyone was praising Qin Chu. It was obvious that he played a key role in this surgery. Where's my brother? He was pushed to the VIP room by the assistant. He'll wake up in 12 hours, don't worry. Okay, thank you, Dr. Liu. It's okay, we didn't do much, we just assisted. Dr. Qin is the one who really worked hard, but he seems to be a bit unwell and is in the waiting room. Then, Dr. Liu and the other doctors and nurses left the operating room. Seeing that Qin Chu didn't come out, Huamin opened the door and walked in. The surgery was over, and the waiting room next to it was for the lead surgeon to take a break. When Huamin walked in, he saw Qin Chu sitting on the sofa, looking a bit haggard. She probably didn't know that Qin Chu had just returned from a business trip the night before the surgery. Then, he had a meeting that very night. Because GK was involved in too many industries, it was very busy 365 days a year. Although Qin Chu's father, Qin Yuman, was the chairman of GK, his heart was weak and his blood pressure was high. Therefore, he had entered a state of quiet recuperation. Other than projects that involved billions of yuan, he didn't interfere with anything else and left it to Qin Chu to run. Although Qin Chu didn't like the position of GK's president, because of the promise from many years ago, he would do his best. He had a lot of work to do, he didn't sleep well last night, and he had to rush to the surgery today. Naturally, he was exhausted. The most important thing was that he hadn't eaten anything for an entire day. His stomach was already starting to protest. Brain surgeries were torturous because they required high concentration. Otherwise, one wrong step could endanger the patient's life or cause permanent sequelae. What's more, his opponent was Huamin's younger brother. Naturally, Qin Chu would do his best. Drink some warm water. You don't look well. Huamin filled a disposable paper cup with warm water and handed it over. Qin Chu raised his head and glanced at Huamin. He took the cup but did not say anything. Thank you so much for today. Huamin expressed his heartfelt gratitude. Qin Chu held the cup of hot water in his hand and replied word by word, "There's no need to be so polite between husband and wife." Huamin was speechless for a moment. If he hadn't reminded her, she would have forgotten that today was the day they registered their marriage. Qin Chu. Can you not tell anyone about our marriage? Why not? After all, our identities are so different. Are you trying to say that my status as GK's president is embarrassing you? Do you think it's embarrassing? Qin Chu put down the cup of water he hadn't had time to drink, and his tone gradually turned cold. No, I just don't want the media to report on us. I don't want my mom to see us. You should know how much she misunderstands you. Do we have to keep our marriage a secret for the rest of our lives because of this? Qin Chu was obviously unwilling to accept the fact that he couldn't tell his wife about his marriage. God knew, he wanted nothing more than to announce to the world that he and Huamin were married. Chapter 58. Huamin shook his head. No, I just want to give my mom some time. After all, she's not in good health. I'm afraid that she won't be able to accept it right away. Qin Chu stared into Huamin's eyes for a while. Finally, he gave in to Huamin's sincere gaze. Then we'll do as you say. After speaking, Qin Chu stood up and walked out. Where are you going? Back to the company, Qin Chu said as he took off his white coat and walked out. Eat something before you leave. There's a staff cafeteria downstairs. After Huamin said this, he regretted it. How could someone like Qin Chu go to the staff cafeteria? It's okay. As expected, he refused. Just as he walked to the door, Qin Chu suddenly remembered something. He turned around, walked back a few steps, picked up the cup of warm water on the coffee table, and drank it all in one gulp. It tastes good. After speaking, Qin Chu turned around and left again. Huamin was dumbfounded. It was just a cup of water. How could it taste that good? When Qin Chu returned to the company, Assistant Yang was about to go crazy. The president had lost contact with him for 5 hours. His phone was turned off, and he couldn't find him no matter what happened. He even had to ask the chairman, but now, the chairman made a big deal out of nothing and sent everyone to look for the president. He almost called the police. President Qin, you're finally back. Assistant Yang looked like he was about to cry. What's up? There's an important document that needs your signature, but I couldn't get through to your phone. In the end, I called the chairman and he came to take care of it, but, go on. But the chairman seems to be very worried about your safety. Many people in the company are looking for your car. They've searched the entire city. They thought that something happened to you. President Qin, where did you go? Do I have to report to you where I go? Qin Chu glanced at Assistant Yang faintly. No, that's not what I meant. I'm just worried about your safety, Chairman Qin. Also, there are too many things going on in the company. I really can't handle it if I can't find you in 5 hours. If GK's assistant position was so easy, why would I hire you for 30,000 a month? Qin Chu asked back. Assistant Yang was speechless. However, what the CEO said seemed to make sense. Shouldn't the assistant help the CEO deal with some messy matters? President Qin, these documents need your signature. Please take a look. Yes. Qin Chu nodded, but his expression didn't look good. President Qin, you don't look too well. Pour me a glass of water, Qin Chu ordered. Assistant Yang carefully placed a cup of warm water on the table. Qin Chu took a sip of water while looking at the pile of documents. Then he frowned slightly. What's wrong? President Qin, isn't it too cold? Why doesn't it taste good? Qin Chu looked up and asked in all seriousness. Assistant Yang froze for a second, then stuttered as he explained, this isn't coffee or tea, it's just plain water. Of course it doesn't taste good. But the one I just drank was delicious. President Qin, where did you drink it? I'll go learn how to drink it later and see what brand they drink. Qin Chu didn't say anything else. He lowered his head and began working seriously again. After Huamin's surgery, Jing Jixin was doing well. After Huamin told his mother the news, although she was still unhappy, she looked a lot more relaxed. She walked out of the room and planned to report to the head nurse at the OB/GYN department. However, she was stopped by an unfamiliar middle-aged woman. You're Jing Jixin's sister, right? You are? I'm also a family member of a serial car accident. My son was also seriously injured and broke one of his legs. Why are you looking for me? Huamin asked the family member, whom he didn't know. Are you satisfied with the compensation that they offered? Did you agree to settle it privately? Compensation? Privately? Huamin was confused. No one was looking for her. Chapter 59. Yeah, didn't they come looking for you? Oh, then they'll probably come soon. They've already come to us 3, so it'll be your turn soon. Aside from the girl who died, your brother was the most seriously injured out of the 3 of us, so they'll probably compensate you more than us. As she spoke, Huamin saw the envy in the middle-aged woman's eyes. I've already done my research on this malicious car accident. Apparently, the perpetrator was drunk and was even speeding on campus, which prohibits speeding. This is a terrible behavior, and it's not something that can be solved with compensation and an apology. It's already a criminal offense. After I gather the evidence in a few days, I'll sue them. I don't want any compensation, I just want a fair result. With that, Huamin turned around and left. This girl must be an idiot, the middle-aged woman muttered to herself behind Huamin. Was Huamin really an idiot? Of course not. She just didn't want to use her brother's health in exchange for some so-called compensation. What she wanted was to bring the malicious perpetrator to justice. To cause a drunken car accident on campus and cause a chain accident that resulted in 1 death and 3 injuries, not only did he not take responsibility for his actions, he even ran away. This kind of person was truly immoral. Apparently, the girl who died was the girl who sat in the passenger seat beside him. Apparently, they were even dating. Now that his girlfriend had died in the hospital, not only did that brat not show up, but his lawyer had been talking to the family members in private. Huamin already had an idea in her mind. Luckily, Zhixin was fine. Otherwise, if there were any sequelae, she would rather give up everything and fight it out with those people. As expected, just as Huamin was about to get off work, she received a call from the perpetrator's lawyer asking for a private talk. After Huamin agreed, she went straight to the coffee shop they had agreed to meet at. It was near the hospital. The other party was a lawyer in his 40s. He wore glasses, had a square face, and was wearing a black suit with a black briefcase in hand. "You're Miss Huamin, right?" Huamin nodded. "Hello, I'm Luo Qing, the lawyer representing the client, Louis Geng. I'm here today for a simple reason. The Lu family wants to settle this privately. They don't want to make a big deal out of it, nor do they want to go through legal procedures. I heard that Miss Hua's brother is seriously injured and is receiving treatment. I think it will cost a lot of money. I suggest that you give me a reasonable amount, and I'll ask the client to compensate you." "Do you think they can satisfy me with just a random number?" Huamian sneered. "Of course not. As long as it's within reason, we can accept it," said Mr. Luo confidently. "What do you mean within reason? Mr. Song, please explain, I don't really understand." Huamin smiled. Mr. Luo immediately took out a thick stack of documents from his briefcase and said to Huamian, "Miss Hua, we have some understanding of your family situation. Your family situation isn't very good, so I'm sure you'll need this money. Of course, we won't give you too little. After all, in addition to the cost of the treatment, we'll also pay you some compensation for psychological damage. I heard that the surgery costs around 300,000 yuan, and the follow-up treatment costs 70,000 to 80,000 yuan. On top of that, we'll add another 300,000 yuan. My client wants to pay 700,000 yuan. What do you think, Miss Hua?" 700,000 yuan, that's a lot of money, Huamin slowly said. Chapter 60. Lawyer Luo immediately pushed the documents over and smiled. "Since Miss Hua is fine with it, please sign it. I promise to settle this privately so I can get my client to transfer the money." "But can 700,000 yuan buy my brother's health? Do you know that he almost suffered from cerebral palsy?" asked Huamin coldly, glaring at Lawyer Luo. When Mr. Luo saw that the situation had changed, his expression changed slightly. Then he adjusted his glasses and said, "We're also very sorry about this. My client was also drunk at the time. He didn't do it on purpose. He knows that he was wrong." "I don't think so. He hasn't shown his face even once since the accident. Also, he fled right after the accident. I don't think he would have taken responsibility for it if it hadn't caused such a huge impact. That's not it. How about this, Miss Hua? We're both straightforward people, so I won't hide it from you. The compensation for the other 2 victims is 500,000 yuan each, and one of them even lost a leg. Your brother is said to be out of danger, and the surgery was very successful. I'll give you an additional 100,000 yuan. 800,000 yuan. That way, you'll get a lot more than the other 2. Is that okay?" "How about that?" 800,000 yuan. Then I'll pay 800,000 yuan. Will you let me hit you so hard that you end up like my brother?" Lawyer Luo's expression immediately darkened. "Miss Hua, we are very sincere. Since it has already happened, we have to face it. You have to know that we only paid 850,000 yuan for the girl who died. Comparatively speaking, 800,000 yuan is already a lot. Also, we will transfer the money immediately and won't delay the payment by even a day. Don't you need money?" "Compared to money, I believe that I need a fair outcome more," said Huamin as she stared at Lawyer Luo. "So you're saying?" "I won't accept a private settlement. I will file a lawsuit with the court. According to the current traffic laws, your client has caused a serious car accident. Not only was he drunk driving, but he was also fleeing. Speeding on campus is strictly prohibited. I believe the judge will give me a reasonable explanation. After Huamin said this, Lawyer Luo suddenly laughed. What are you laughing at? Huamin was a little angry. I'm laughing at how naive you are, Miss Hua. I didn't expect such a naive girl like you to exist. What do you mean? Miss Hua, you probably don't know my client's background. My client, LV Gang, is just a 21-year-old college student. Do you know what his parents do? Huamin remained silent and waited for Huamin. It's okay to tell you. His parents are both officials and his relatives are officials. To put it bluntly, he is the second generation of officials. What do you think the court can win against someone with such a background? If you know what's good for you, why don't you just accept the compensation and let the matter rest? Even if someone's daughter died, they wouldn't speak as righteously as you. Don't think that you're some kind of judge who wants justice. Let me tell you, there is no justice in this world. If you have money and power, you are the sky. If you don't have money and power, you will be stepped on by others. You might feel uncomfortable saying this, but so what? It's the truth. He has a background? I'm so scared. Huamin smiled faintly. Then he continued, indeed, he has a powerful background. I can tell that this isn't a simple matter from the way the Ministry of Transportation and the police are dragging their feet. But so what? Do we have to spoil him just because he has a background? I'm not his mother. Why should I forgive him if he makes a mistake? Suing him in court is just a procedure. I have to go through with it. You can also choose to use your connections. But don't forget, there's another place called the media. If the media makes too much noise and public opinion becomes too much, I want to see how long his powerful parents can protect him. After Huamin finished speaking, Lawyer Luo was completely speechless. Chapter 61. He originally thought that Huamin was just a naive little girl. He didn't expect her to be so meticulous. Miss Hua, tell me, what do you want in order for you to stop? How much do you want? Just name a price. Mr. Luo thought that Huamin was making such a fuss because she wasn't satisfied with the compensation. I think you don't understand my intentions. I may have been short of money before, but now I have enough money for my brother's surgery. So, no matter how much money you give me, it won't stop me from suing you. If you really want to settle this peacefully, why don't you let the drunk driver who caused the serial car accident stay in prison for 3 to 5 years and teach him how to be a good person? That way, he won't continue to hurt others after drinking. Are you kidding me? You want my client to turn himself in? That's impossible. Really? Then I'll see you in court, Mr. Luo. With that, Huamin stood up and left. Miss Hua, is there no room for negotiation? Mr. Luo didn't give up and chased after her with questions. This time, Huamin didn't even look back. She opened the door and walked out. She couldn't imagine what kind of person was thinking when he drove a Porsche around the campus, causing 1 death and 3 serious injuries. The one who died was his girlfriend. In that kind of situation, if his girlfriend was seriously injured, shouldn't he immediately call the police or 120? Why would he get out of the car, open the door, and run away without caring about the lives of others? She heard that the dead girl missed the best time to be saved because she was sent to the hospital too late. Otherwise, she might have survived. How could she forgive such a scumbag? Her little brother almost became disabled? His health couldn't be measured by money, late at night, in a certain RV. You mean that the other party won't compromise? No matter how much they pay? A middle-aged man asked faintly. Yes, Mr. Lu. That girl is very stubborn and insists on suing. She even said that she will alert the media and make sure your son goes to jail. Ridiculous. My son isn't someone that lowly commoner can do whatever she wants. Yes, Mr. Lu, you're right. Next week, Mr. Luo probed carefully. We will take care of the rest. You just need to get the other 3 families to sign first. Huamin went back to his rented apartment and changed his clothes. Then he took the bus back to the hospital because he was worried about his mother. Mom, Jixin is fine now. He'll wake up tomorrow. Don't worry. Let me ask you, where did you get the money to pay for Jixin's surgery? I heard from the doctor that it cost hundreds of thousands. I borrowed it from a friend. Which friend has the ability to lend you so much money? Don't tell me you've spoken to that damned mother of yours? No, with that guy's personality, he would never give you so much money. Did you do something shameful? Yang Meirong stared into her daughter's eyes and asked coldly. Mom, I didn't. Huamin thought that if her mother found out that she was married to Qin Chu, then she would be condemned for eternity. Then let me ask you, how are things going between you and Ning Xuan? Are you still going to marry him? Yang Meirong asked again. At the mention of Ning Xuan, Huamin fell silent for a moment. In fact, she didn't know what to say. Why aren't you talking? Are you mute? Yang Meirong continued to interrogate. After a moment of silence, Huamin slowly said, Mom, Ning Xuan and I have broken up. We won't have anything to do with each other anymore. Is it because of that kid from the Qin family? No. Huamin immediately denied. Don't blame me for not reminding you of how your Uncle Jing died back then. The Qin family is our enemy. If you dare to have anything to do with their family again, don't blame me for flaying your skin, Yang Meirong threatened fiercely. I know. Huamin obviously didn't have much confidence. No one knew how difficult it was for her. If she didn't marry Qin Chu, Jixin might have died a long time ago. Just then Huamin's phone rang. When she saw the caller ID, she immediately felt guilty. What she was afraid of really happened. Who else could it be but Qin Chu with 8,866 yuan? Chapter 62. Mom, I'm going out to take a call. It's getting late, you should get some rest. I'll get you discharged tomorrow, and then we'll go see Jixin. After speaking, Huamin carefully left the room with his phone in hand. Hello. She quietly picked up the phone. Where are you? Qin Chu asked. The hospital. When are you going back? I'm working the night shift. When do you get off work? Tomorrow morning. I'll pick you up. No need. Why not? Qin Chu was clearly displeased. Did he have to remind her that they were already married? It's because your Audi R8 is too flashy, and I don't want people to talk about it in the hospital. Plus, even the director's car isn't as good as yours. If Huamian remembered correctly, the director only drove an Audi A8. If she really got into an Audi R8 at the hospital entrance, her spine would probably be torn apart. On the other end, Qin Chu remained silent. Huamin thought he was angry. Actually, I can take the bus by myself, she added. Slam. He hung up the phone. This guy's temper was still the same as 7 years ago, arrogant and twisted. What a weirdo. After working the night shift, Huamin was extremely sleepy. When she woke up in the morning, she helped her mother get discharged. Then, the two of them went to the VIP room together. Jixin hadn't woken up yet, but Dr. Lu said that his vitals had stabilized, and it was only a matter of time before he woke up. In the end, her mother stayed to take care of Jixin, and Huamin planned to go home and get a good night's sleep. It had been a few days, and she felt like she was going to break down after being in the hospital for so long. When Huamin walked out of the hospital, a white Volkswagen CC stopped in front of her. Just as she was wondering what was going on, the person in the car rolled down the window and said, "Get in." Why are you here? Huamin didn't think that Qin Chu would come and drive such a low-key Volkswagen CC. The cars behind kept honking because the arrogant car owner was standing at the entrance, seriously disrupting the traffic. Huamin didn't dare to stay any longer. He immediately opened the door and sat in the passenger seat. Satisfied, Qin Chu started the car and drove away. You changed your car? She asked softly. It's my assistant's car. I borrowed it, Qin Chu said casually. God knows, he called Xiao Yang early in the morning and said that he wanted to swap cars with him. Little Yang was very conflicted. He really didn't have the confidence to drive boss Audi R8 to work. Also, what was so good about his CC that cost less than 300,000 yuan? Why did the boss take a fancy to it? After saying this, Huamin stopped talking. The two of them looked at each other in silence. What do you want to eat? Huamin was confused by Qin Chu's sudden question. What do you want to eat? Let's not eat, I don't have much of an appetite. Chinese or Western? Qin Chu didn't care about Huamin's reaction and continued to ask. After hesitating for a long time, she saw that this guy was still as domineering as before. She had no choice but to compromise. Chinese then. 15 minutes later, the car stopped in front of first-class royal palace. Qin Chu took her in and went straight to the private room on the second floor. Then, they ordered shrimp dumplings, crab congee, and morning tea. Huamin hadn't eaten so much in the morning for a long time. While eating, she secretly glanced at Qin Chu. She saw him eating elegantly while flipping through the screen of his phone to check today's stock market. I'm done. Huamin finally put down the spoon and slowly said, "And then you can pay with your card," Qin Chu said casually. Why do I have to pay? Huamin was about to go crazy. She felt that Qin Chu shouldn't be such a stingy person. Besides, what kind of place was first-class royal palace? A breakfast here cost at least 1,000 yuan, right? She didn't have that much cash on her. She only had around 200 yuan for pocket money. Qin Chu raised his head, picked up a tissue and elegantly wiped the corner of his mouth. He looked at Huamin and said seriously, "My salary for this month was transferred to your card last night. Of course, you have to pay." But Huamin froze on the spot. Chapter 63. He said that he transferred his salary for this month to her card. This news came too suddenly, and she didn't even have time to process it. "Waiter, the bill please," Qin Chu said. "Hello, your total bill is 1,080 yuan. "I'm looking for her," Qin Chu said casually as he pointed at Huamin. Huamin took out the only ICBC card from her bag. If she remembered correctly, there was less than 800 yuan left on this card. She didn't know how much money Qin Chu transferred to her. He wasn't messing with her, right? After the waiter swiped the card, he carefully returned it, and the two of them walked out of the restaurant together. Huamin was still struggling with a question, but she was too embarrassed to ask it. "Do you want to know how much my monthly salary is?" Qin Chu asked on her behalf when he saw how conflicted she was. Huamin immediately nodded her head. Her cute look made Qin Chu's lips curve up slightly. "Why don't you check your bank account on your phone?" What kind of stupid answer was that? Was he messing with her? Just then, Qin Chu's phone rang. "Okay, I got it, but I have something important to take care of right now. Tell them to postpone the meeting for 30 minutes. After speaking, Qin Chu hung up the phone. "Since you have something important to take care of, let's go our separate ways here. I'll take the bus home." Qin Chu glanced at Huamin and said coldly, "The important thing I said was to take you home." Qin Chu looked at her like she was an idiot. Sometimes, he really wondered if Huamin, a super genius with an IQ of 130, was actually a weirdo with a high IQ but a low EQ? After hearing this, Huamin's expression slowed down by half a beat. Then, a warm feeling rose in her heart. "Let's go, get in the car." 20 minutes later, Qin Chu sent Huamin to her rented apartment. "I'm here. Please send me back." Huamin was still not used to Qin Chu's kindness. After all, they had been separated for more than 7 years. Suddenly living together in such an intimate relationship, there was really no way to adapt at all. "I'll pick you up after work." "There's no need for that. The rent here will be refunded. Move to my place." Qin Chu's tone was tough. Huamin immediately refused. Qin Chu stared at her with a complicated expression. "We're husband and wife. We can't live separately right after we got married, right? Or do you think that after I helped you, you can ignore me for half a year and then ask for a divorce? Are you trying to burn the bridge after crossing the river?" "That's not what I meant," Huamin explained. "Then it's settled. I'll pick you up tonight. Don't bring anything from here. We don't need anything over there." Without waiting for Huamin to reply, Qin Chu turned around and left. Huamin looked at the tall and handsome back and sighed slightly. It had been 7 years. His overbearing, arrogant, and prideful temper hadn't changed at all. In fact, it seemed to have gotten worse. But was it really convenient to move in with him? Didn't he live with his parents? She had met Mr. and Mrs. Qin years ago. They didn't like her at all. She didn't like them either. After Uncle Jing died, she saw Qin Chu's parents as murderers. Huamin couldn't imagine what it would be like to live under the same roof as her enemies. When Qin Chu returned to the company, there was still 5 minutes before the meeting. He walked straight into the meeting room and flipped through the documents his assistant gave him. Then, he listened to the reports from the higher-ups of each department. An hour later, the meeting was over. Qin Chu hadn't said a single word. "President Qin, the meeting is about to end. Is there anything else you'd like to add?" Assistant Yang asked carefully. Qin Chu slowly closed the documents in his hands and looked around. All of the higher-ups lowered their heads. They didn't dare to make eye contact with their boss in case they made a mistake. "Inform the finance department that all employees will receive double pay this month." President Qin this? The good news came so suddenly that Assistant Yang didn't know what to say. The other higher-ups also had astonished expressions on their faces. Today, could it be some kind of auspicious day? Chapter 64. President Qin, did the company get a good project? One of the vice presidents asked, trying to suck up to Qin Chu. Qin Chu thought for a moment, then he leaned on his forehead and said thoughtfully, "A good project? Yes, it's a project that I've been thinking about for years, and now it's finally settled." "That's great, President Qin. Can you tell us what the project is? We want to share the good news with you." The vice president continued to suck up to Qin Chu. To his surprise, Qin Chu slowly stood up, adjusted his collar, and said faintly, "You don't need to know. Anyways, today is a good day." Then, Qin Chu turned around and left. The executives were left in a mess. Assistant Yang secretly counted with his 10 fingers. There were a total of 2,000 employees at GK's headquarters, and the employees' monthly salary was 8 million yuan. However, with one sentence from the president, they were offered 8 million yuan more this month. It seemed like rich people could do whatever they wanted. Their boss was more than just a little capricious. President Qin. Assistant Yang followed behind Qin Chu and ran over. "What is it?" "There's something I want to say." "Say it." "But I'm afraid you'll be mad." "Then don't say it." Qin Chu's words almost made Assistant Yang cry. No, President Qin, I really want to talk to you." "Say it." "When are you going to give my car back to me?" Assistant Yang looked like he was about to cry. He drove his boss's Audi R8 to work every day, and not only did he have to endure criticism from his colleagues, but he also had to worry about getting to and from work every day. He was afraid that he would scratch his boss's car, and that he couldn't afford to pay for it. Although his boss's car was insured, if he scratched his boss's beloved car, then it wouldn't be a problem that money could solve. If that happened, he might even lose his job. Speaking of which, Assistant Yang's job was like a free lunch that fell from the sky. The former president's assistant was a very capable middle-aged woman, but as soon as the new president took office, he transferred her to a subsidiary company to be the president. The empty position was supposed to be filled by an outsider, but the new president chose him, the most inconspicuous person, out of all the recruiters. When GK called him and told him to come to work, he thought he had encountered a scammer. Later, he found out that the new CEO had chosen him for 2 reasons. Firstly, he was a man, and the new CEO did not seem to like to have too much contact with women. Secondly, he also studied in Erzhong High School. It was said that the CEO was also a student of Erzhong High School. Speaking of which, they were schoolmates. Yang wasn't stupid. He could vaguely sense that Second High held an extraordinary significance to the new president. However, the president was so capricious. He borrowed his Volkswagen CC and gave him an Audi R8, which made him very depressed. After listening to Yang's request, Qin Chu pondered for a while and asked, "Is the car not fast enough?" Assistant Yang hurriedly waved his hands. No, it's simply too fast." "Don't you like that color?" No, President Qin, I like the color too. It's high-end and classy. That means you don't think it's cool enough. If that's the case, I have a Ferrari and a Lamborghini in my garage. Before Qin Chu could finish, Assistant Yang almost knelt down. President Qin, it's really cool, but it's not suitable for someone of my status. I'm just an assistant, how can I afford such a good car? These past few days, I've been tossing and turning in bed, unable to sleep. I'm scared that I'll be scratched during the day, and I'm scared that my car will be stolen at night. President Qin, please do me a favor and return my car to me. Seeing how sincere Assistant Yang was, Qin Chu thought for a while and nodded. Okay, since you're in such a difficult situation, I'll return your car to you. Thank you for your understanding, President Qin. Assistant Yang finally let out a sigh of relief. Then call the 4S shop later and order me a car that's exactly the same as yours. Assistant Yang was once again confused. He didn't understand why the president lowered his status and insisted on driving a Volkswagen. Was it just because it was locally produced? Was the president very, very patriotic? Sir, do you know how to sing the March of the Volunteer Army? After hesitating for a while, Assistant Yang weakly asked. Qin Chu frowned slightly and looked at this weird male assistant in confusion. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.